Chat, we are live here at the SoCon Football Media Day. You don't want to miss what we got in store. We have interviews across the board, chat, so you want to make sure that you stay tuned throughout. We're live here at the SoCon Football Media Day. Yes. You sit one seat.
Okay.
You sit one seat right here.
All right, awesome.
All right.
Appreciate the opportunity.
We are here with the commissioner of the SoCon. So, I have a couple questions for you here.
Go ahead.
So, first question. It's fourth year atop the SoCon, and that's like a senior year, because we're talking about football, so it's almost like a senior year.
Okay.
So what's some of the
I get
biggest
5 years
things?
of eligibility, though.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, no, you're not done.
Okay,
you know,
all right,
grad
okay.
school. You got grad school.
That's right. That's right.
But what's some of the things you've learned so far since being commissioner?
You know, every day is a learning experience, and I think the big thing that you really have to think about is learning to synthesize information and then use that information to try and take us in a direction that our presidents are comfortable with and our athletics directors are comfortable with. And you got a lot of different perspectives on any topic, whether it's financial, whether it's academic, whether it's philosophies related to competitiveness, postseason participation. So in all of these decisions, I don't get a vote. I have to try and create alignment around whatever the topic might be. And so that involves a lot of listening, a lot of one-on-one conversations. I think it involves a lot of confidentiality, honestly, to take in information that people share with you in confidence, not divulge those confidences and share them as you put this information together in a way that allows you to move people forward and comes to alignment around taking progress on whatever the topic might be. So that's really the biggest thing. It's a very ever-changing landscape, and the national piece contributes to that without a doubt.
So you have to wear a lot of different hats when you are being commissioner. Make sure that you really just follow the guidelines that the president set for you, and also make sure you live up to the national and stuff like that. How would you say it is dealing with the other conferences?
So you mentioned the guidelines. I mean, we really, we operate from bylaws. I mean, that's one of the core responsibilities of our office, is to make sure that whatever the membership has decided, that we're enforcing those rules in a way that provide competitive balance, those types of things. So that's a key piece for sure. As it relates to the relationships with the other commissioners, it really depends on what the topic is. You've got from the SEC and the Big Ten at one end, G6, FCS, and then some who don't even have football. So finding shared commonalities is really a key part of that, for sure.
For sure. Let me just set this up just as a backup recording, just to make sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So next for you, how do you envision the football season? Of course, you're starting with football media. So how do you envision the football season setting the tone for the rest of the sports throughout the SoCon?
Well, I mean, look, football, as I mentioned in my remarks, football from a viewership standpoint, from an attendance standpoint, gets more eyeballs and more engagement than any of our other sports. Basketball is obviously very important to us, but on a strictly single-day basis, we'll have far more people who are watching a football game on a SoCon Saturday, whether it's in person or on TV, than we'll see in a typical basketball weekend. So it sets the tone in that it's a chance for campuses to come together, alumni can come together, and it's hard to it's hard to have a rallying point around a poetry reading on campus. Football does it. It brings people together in a social setting. You get back together with your friends, your teammates, and brings the students together. It gives something to happen on the weekends. It's not an accident. It's a cultural phenomenon nationally, and our schools take advantage of that in really meaningful ways. And as I travel around the conference, it's great to see how each campus puts their own spin on that.
Yeah, I got to go to a Furman game a couple years ago, and got to see that whole environment and things like that. So that was very good. So you mentioned traveling around.
Yes.
There's one more spot you have to travel to this year.
Yes.
Tennessee Tech. You guys added them. So talk to me a little bit about conference expansion. Are we done at 10 teams? Do you anticipate more? It's too early to tell.
It's a good question. Excuse me for a second. A lot of talking today. I'm losing my voice.
I'm gonna get one after this.
Yeah. So a couple thoughts on that. One, I travel to all the campuses. I'll see one football game on every campus. I try to do that every year. I will go to Tennessee Tech's first game as a SoCon member when they play Monmouth at the start of the season. And the membership question is a really interesting question. We're at 10 in football, we're at 11 in some other sports, we're at 9 in other sports. So I think when people think about membership, they tend to look and gravitate toward how many schools do you have and what makes for good scheduling arrangements. And that's a component of it, but brand strength of the institution, the leadership of those institutions we might consider, the academic quality of those institutions and their athletic competitiveness all matter. And then the other piece is the geography piece. I mean, we, unlike other conferences, have focused intently on maintaining our geographic footprint. And as a result, there are schools that we probably just won't consider based on that sole factor. So working through those questions, whether that's football specific or across all sports, is something that happens at the highest levels. The CEOs are very involved in this. I talk with them regularly about this topic. There's constant monitoring of the landscape as relates to what's involved there. And we make sure that there's awareness of what's happening, and you want to think about expansion in one of two ways. One's much better than the other. You want to expand out of opportunity, which is a positive, and you don't necessarily want to expand out of necessity, which puts you on defense and you're expanding in a tough situation. So that's how we think about it in general. And as opportunities present themselves, we'll make discerning judgments about what to do in those situations.
Yeah, and of course, did the media rights deal come before or after conference expansion for you guys, the extension of the ESPN?
Oh, that's a good question. Tennessee Tech was added, and then we signed our extension.
Okay.
So yeah.
Did that help with the process of the extension, having another school, another maybe market?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you get into expectations that we have at our schools and in the conference in terms of minimum number of broadcasts, revenues, those types of things, like those are all factored into the calculus that happens with ESPN. And we've also signed an extension with CBS Sports Network for basketball. So we've doubled the number of exposures we have there, and then we've got our linear exposure with Nexstar. So more people who watch, more people who care, more people who are invested in what we're doing. There's compound interest on all these things, and it's very real. So having good, positive experiences, high-quality institutions that have good fan bases feeds on itself in ways that helps grow what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that another aspect you talked about, and even Dave talked about when he started, was the back-to-back conference champion Mercer. But before that, 6 different conference champions. And that's a lot of parity that you guys have at the top every year. You never know who's going to win. You can kind of predict it, but even then, it's one of the most competitive conferences across the board. Everyone plays each other. That's another plus.
Yep.
But on the other end, when it comes to the football teams and you look at, the Big Sky and Missouri Valley, they're kind of top heavy, and they have like a couple teams at the top every year. What advantages do you think you get from having the parity in the conference compared to the other schools where it's like you have Montana State at the top, and they're fighting every year. Those teams, you can count on them to make a deep run, but you guys, it's more everyone has a shot.
Well, I mean, look, the advantage is, and it's both sides of the same coin. The advantage is, look, we're in an area of the country that has the ability to have close rivalries. That helps. Everybody playing everybody every year helps those rivalries. And we're drawing many of our athletes from that same footprint. So those are all positives. The challenge that you get is that it's also an incredibly football passionate fan base at other levels. So when you're dealing with an Auburn or an Alabama, you're dealing with Georgia, you're dealing with Tennessee, like those games, those game times matter in the local communities, and sometimes those games can butt up against each other in ways that might impact attendance or viewership or whatever it might be. So all workable. We work on that in the scheduling process. Schools obviously account for that when they're putting their game times together and trying to figure out what time they want to play. So far more positive than negative for sure. The Big Sky comparison is an interesting one, and you mentioned the Montanas. Montana doesn't have any professional sports teams, and they don't have any FBS institutions. So their worldview and their approach and the focus in that state on those two teams, and I would imagine as a large state institutions, many of the people who have gone to those institutions stay in the state, feed those rivalries in different ways. They obviously generate revenue. So they're different approaches to the same question, which is how do you improve your product, how do you improve the competitiveness, and it takes resources, and you have to have those resources in order to be successful.
For sure. And another aspect that is ever changing, transfer portal.
Sure.
And of course you guys had some of the biggest losses of any conference last year. Buck Buchanan award winner, he hits the portal. Jerry Rice Award winner hits the portal. What are your thoughts on the transfer portal when it comes to FCS football and the SoCon and how it impacts it?
So it's an excellent question. I'd say a couple things. The transfer portal in and of itself is only one part of the equation. The transfer portal linked with economic opportunities is the other part of the equation. So I'm very comfortable that the experience our athletes are having across all of our campuses is exceptional because of the leadership from our presidents and the expectations they have for their athletics programs. The challenge that you get is that you've got people in people's ears, whether it's agents or others, saying, hey, think about this, look at this opportunity, etc. And sometimes that guidance is good, and sometimes that guidance isn't always good. And so what will be very interesting to see is this 5-and-5 eligibility situation, whereas before you had 5 years to play 4 years, so you kind of had some opportunities. Football, if you only played 4 games, you got your whole year back. That's not the case anymore. There's an expiration date on every single season and every single game with no red shirts after the fact. So whether athletes will think about this question differently, and in particular say, I'm going to value playing time more than a check early in my career for the opportunity to have significant NIL opportunities later in my career. So everybody always bets on themselves, as they should.
Sure, especially at this level.
Absolutely. So, but you can have it all at this level. I mean, you can have a great educational experience. You can, there are programs that are clearly providing NIL money to athletes, but getting your education paid for continues to be the central question. And then for those who have exceptional talent, there's going to be opportunities out there. Last thing I'll say about the transfer portal is the issue that we have is supply and demand is out of whack. And what I mean by that is if you look at the professional levels, there's only 32 NFL teams, and there's only 40-some, 50-some slots on those rosters. And the demand, the number of players who want that opportunity is exceptional. So they can choose the best of the best. At the collegiate level, in all sports, the supply and demand are completely flipped. There's hundreds of teams, FBS, FCS, G6, etc. And then you've got hundreds of other teams in basketball, soccer, whatever it might be. Way more teams and not enough talented athletes to fill those teams, which is driving the market in ways that I don't think were ever anticipated. And we're seeing a lot of really interesting spending choices at programs as they try to make sure they're as competitive as possible. And the bidders just keep going head to head like it's an auction, wanting to get the best painting out there. And maybe it's a Bob Ross, maybe it's a Rembrandt, I'm not sure which, or maybe it's something else, maybe it's a finger paint, like you never know until they get on campus. So hard to tell, but that's a real factor. The supply and demand issue is real for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the spending, and that wants to get me to my next point about the conference budgets. I saw some data come out recently about some of the conference budgets and how the SoCon compares to some of the top other schools in the FCS. So you have Chattanooga, number 18, at $6.6 million for their operating budget for football.
Okay.
And then you have Tennessee Tech, newcomer, $5.8 million. So do you feel like it's any need to get into that top 20, top 10 when it comes to operating budgets for the schools? That's an interesting question. There's a correlation between resources, but it's not one-to-one. If the biggest budget won every game, we wouldn't have to play the game. So you got to get out there, and you got to prove it on the field.
how people spend from an operating budget perspective can really vary. Some might invest in coaching, some might put it into facilities, some might say we're going to put it into athletes, some might say mental health, athletic training. So everybody's got their own way they want to figure out how to win and be competitive and maximize the benefits that they have on their various campuses. Some appeal to the mountains, some say, hey, you can be in a military experience, some are closer to the beach, some are in bigger cities, some are in very remote areas. Like, every athlete has a different story that they're telling, and so, look, the dollars help, but that is not the only reason and the only way people are choosing schools. And so, investing wisely, and some of the schools you mentioned, for example, Tennessee Tech is redoing their football stadium. That's probably contributing to some of their budget.
For sure.
Western Carolina is redoing their football stadium. That's going to contribute. So, the arms race doesn't stop. Choosing what you're going to do in this to be a part of that arms race is a really interesting question. I'm not a military expert, but if you watch it, what's happening, there's a lot of conversation about drones. Drones are not particularly expensive, but they seem to be very effective in a whole variety of ways. Somebody's going to figure out what that model is at the football level and go, well, why don't we just do this instead? It'll allow us to be more competitive, make discerning judgments, and put us in a position to be successful. So let's see where those go, but all of those factors are the never-ending chess game that our schools and coaches go through to try and win games on Saturday.
And I love that you mentioned drones. You're doing good with the segues today.
Okay, all right, good.
You mentioned drones, so that gets me to my next point. What is something that the SoCon is doing to innovate and, stay at the forefront when it comes to all of the college conferences?
So the replay process that we just went through to select Speedio is really what I would point to right now. So we were using one of the original replay systems at our football replay booth and for basketball. I mean, it was easily a decade old, might be 15 years old. And in the world of technology, the half-life's about 6 months, so you can imagine how dated that material was. And the company decided they weren't going to continue to support it. So we had to go out and find a new option. And we looked at a lot of different providers and ultimately feel really good about Speedio as a partner. It's all cloud-based, there's no carrying hardware around. Okay. The camera images are incredibly good. And they've integrated AI into a lot of what they're doing. And as our administrators for the officials and our coaches have started to see the capabilities of this platform, I think they're going to become increasingly comfortable with this, not only from a replay standpoint, but from a available tools standpoint as it relates to coaching, being able to video capture things, watch it, not real time, but watch it right after the play happens, so you can say, okay, what just happened here? So I think we've put tools in place for success, and then each school has to figure out what's the best way to maximize those tools to their advantage.
So we can look forward to some new instant replays this fall.
Absolutely, no question. We got to integrate them into the broadcast, but certainly on a decision-making calls situation, that'll be the case. No doubt.
So we might not see them all the time, but they are going to be happening.
We're working on trying to figure out how we get those into the broadcast for sure. That needs to happen. We'd love to have it happen.
And one question before I let you go that I'm going to be asking every single person who comes over here, but it's going to have a twist for you because, of course, you're not any one team. You're over the entire conference. So give me one word to describe SoCon football this year. What can we expect? One word.
I'm gonna give you three. It's all here. It is. I mean, it's we are unbelievably competitive conference, and as the polls start to take shape, as the voters get into their business, as the NCAA committee starts to dissect who's worthy of postseason opportunities, I'm very confident and comfortable that we will see our teams perform in an exceptional way this year that will allow us to have multiple teams in the postseason, allow our teams to be successful, those that make the postseason, and go from there.
All right, that's all I got for
that
you
good
question-wise. Yep.
All right, appreciate your time.
All right, thank
Always
you.
a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
All right, guys, that's Commissioner Michael Cross here. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Good to see you.
So up next, chat, we have VMI head coach Ashley Ingram here, chat. Turn this way. Let me actually raise this up a little bit for you.
How's it going?
Good. Stand
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Ashley Ingram. Good to see you.
All right, so he just told y'all, chat, I'm live streaming it on Twitch as a backup.
Okay.
Then I also have it just recording as well as a backup. So I have multiple ways to make sure we can get everything you say.
I need to lean in with all this noise, or?
Oh no, it's good. It's good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, and if not, I got my phone here to get
There
it
you
just
go.
in case.
Awesome.
Just in case. So, first year at VMI.
Yep.
You move up from Division II, Carson Newman, to FCS.
Yep.
How's that process been?
It's been good. Now, I've coached prior to that the last 25 years at FCS or FBS. So I was at Navy for 16. I was at Bucknell for 2 prior, to University of Rhode Island for 6 years prior to that. So it was probably more of an adjustment being at the Division II level. But yeah, it's football.
And you're taking over a program. Of course, if there's a new coach, that means something was wrong with the last coach in the last program. So it was 1-11 last year.
Yep.
But it also was 1-11 in 2024.
That's correct.
So how have you tried to change the culture? Of course, you haven't had, summer, fall camp before then yet, so still a work in progress, I assume. But how have you tried to change the culture early on?
Well, that was you hit it on the nail. It was football's football, but I think changing the mindset to build a winning culture. And our philosophy is simple with football. And this was kind of Coach Neilmott's philosophy at the Naval Academy. If we could be the closest football team in the country, a true brotherhood's on all of our stuff. So if we can care about each other, if we can lay it on the line for each other, we think that's going to be the key to us winning, especially in this world of kind of transactional football where people are in and out, in and out, in and out. Well, VMI is a unique place. The military school, we got a degree that's going to matter. Our guys are going to stick with us for the most part. And then the other thing is we want to be the toughest football team in America. And if you can't be tough at VMI, if you can't lean into what makes VMI different and unique, you probably can't do it anywhere. So we feel like if we can be really, really close and lay it on the line for each other. We feel like if we can be tough, and everybody here is going to say they want to be the most disciplined and tough team in the country. Well, in football, you can measure it. So at Carson Newman last year, we had the fewest turnovers in the country. We had the fewest penalties in our league. At Navy, multiple times, we were the least penalized team in the country. So we think if we can do those two things, the football part will take care of itself. So that's kind of been the focus. It's all about the culture, the brotherhood, the toughness, the edge, the discipline, which VMI kind of instills in you anyway.
Yeah, military school, you got to have the discipline.
You better have it,
Yeah, if you don't have the, it's
it
more
ain't
than
happening.
football, you got to have the school.
No doubt.
So with that being said, what are your expectations year one?
Well, the obvious expectations are pretty simple. It's kind of what you mentioned. Are we the team we want to be today? Have we completely instilled the culture? No, we want to continue to instill the culture. We want to grow closer. We want to get tougher. We want to get better every time we go out there. We want to put a program and a team on the field that makes VMI very proud. We want to reflect the way we play, what the place is all about. Toughness, edge, discipline. And then we want to win. We didn't come here to pat ourselves on the back. We didn't come here to put on a good show. We came here to win. So we're going to try to win football games each and every week.
And winning football games, they say it's 2 aspects, but I think it's 3 aspects. You got offense, defense, and special teams. You got a first team All-American preseason, All-American punter. What's it like having Phil Flipper like that?
Well, I hope he doesn't get to punt as much this year as he did last year. I think he had 84 punts last year.
Yeah.
And I'll go on record and saying if he punts 84 times this year, we're probably not going to have a good year. So we're going to focus on that. But Ben Shrewsbury is a great player, one of the best in the country, if not the best. We got a great special teams coordinator. But offensively, we're going to try to be tough. We're going to try to be physical. We're going to run option. If you watch the academies play football, we're going to try to play that style of ball. And then defensively, we're going to try to run to the ball like nobody else in America.
Of course. And I'm asking everyone this question before I let them go. So can you give me one word to describe this team entering this year?
One word, I'm going to say brotherhood.
All right.
We are a brotherhood.
All right. Well, Coach, that's all I got for you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck in
Appreciate
year
you.
number 1.
Thank you, brother.
So, you guys, you're number one Coach Ingram. What's it been like so far with Coach Ingram?
I really say it's just been a burst of new energy. I know when he came in, we're all very excited. You know, he has a record of proven success, and really just with military schools in general. He's in the Naval Academy for, I believe, 16 years, and transitioned to Chattanooga, and they did really well there first 2 years. And he came to us, and then brought a whole new coaching staff with him. So it's really just been, like I said, a burst of new energy, and it's been great. And we've had really focused on brotherhood. We've got it written across the chest of our workout gear, so it's been a great culture shift.
Yeah, and just adding off of what he said, it's really been a great experience so far. Coach Ingram's a very personable dude, even outside of football, but he's, like, you can tell he really knows what he's talking about, and just the scheduling and how everything's organized, it just feels way sharper. It feels like we're heading in the right direction.
That's good, because, you know, of course, you guys didn't have the most success on the field last year, but I did want to see, when it comes to being leaders on this team, how are you guys making sure the team stayed encouraged last year? How are you making sure that they put last year behind them as you guys get ready for the new year?
Well, I'll go ahead. Yeah. So, just being a leader this year, I feel like, and not to take a shot at anybody, but there was a little bit of leadership that was lacking maybe this past season, and guys weren't, together as one unit per se. It was kind of a couple more cliques, kind of a cliquey team, which, tends to happen, but I feel like teams can be more successful when they're all kind of driven and moving in the right, in one direction. And so, like, I feel like a big goal of ours has just been to get the guys around each other, kind of create some chemistry beyond just the football field, just so, when we get onto the field, you're playing with guys that you love, guys that you respect, and I feel like that type of chemistry, that'll help you win football games ultimately.
You couldn't have said any better. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah.
So now, when it comes to the offense, what about this offense this year? Of course, Coach just told me that you guys are running more option this year than years past. So what is going to make it special?
I would just say it really comes down to a numbers game. Instead of running traditional inside zone, 7 defenders in the box, you got to block all 7 versus option. You only got to block 5 of them because you're reading one and pitching off the other. So really, it's just a numbers game. It just plays to our advantage. You get less blocks, more double teams, and it's just a better scheme. It's also really hard for the defense. You got so much motion in the backfield and so much to take care of. Eyes that are half a second late, or if you get on a pitch too late, it's going to be yards for the offense. So I think it also plays to our strength. We've got a really strong running back room, and also we call it B-back and also slot back. So we've got a lot of young talent there. So I think it just plays to our strength, and it's hard to compare it to defense. So I think it's just a win-win for us.
Sure. And then Isaiah, for you, I saw last year you only started 2 games, correct?
No, I started 5 games last year.
5 games.
Yes, sir.
But you had 60 tackles in those 5 games. So the bigger role is probably on the way this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so last year, Stephen Dean, he had 117 tackles?
Yes, sir.
So how do you set your goals, seeing one of your teammates last year in a bigger role have that many tackles, knowing that you only have 5 in 60 in 5 games?
So, I mean, the biggest thing for me, I changed positions this year, so I'm no longer playing outside backer. I think when you're playing inside backer, you're around the ball more, so it makes sense for you to have more tackles. And now I'm playing more in the box. I'm more of like a Mike-ish type of backer. But I mean, for me, I'm not necessarily looking for a certain number. I'm looking really to just play my role, let the plays come to me, and with the defensive scheme that we have this year, I think it'll allow me to do that.
So how many wins do you think 100 tackles will be worth? Because it seems like you're more focused, like a win is better than making a tackle. If you have 0 tackles and y'all win, I think you'll still be good with that, right?
I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing football to win. You know what I mean? Like, you're not playing necessarily for a specific number. At least the type of player that I am, I'm not necessarily looking for that. So, win. At the end of the day, win is always going to be more important to me, and I think ultimately to our team.
And now I'm asking everyone one question. Everyone's doing the same question, so we'll all have the same answer. Well, not answer, but same kind of question for everyone who comes through here. So for both of y'all, give me one word to describe this team entering this year.
Hungry.
I'll say gritty.
Hungry and gritty. Those are 2 good ones.
Sure.
All right, well, that's all I got for you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. Best of luck this season.
Appreciate you. Yes,
Looking
sir.
forward to-
Sir, appreciate you.
Looking forward to watching y'all
Yes,
play
sir.
some games.
Thank you.
All right, chat. We just got done with VMI, the VMI Cadets, not cadets, Cadets. That stands for Virginia Military Institute. So, chat, we are moving on. Up next, we will have 3 minutes from now, and we will go with Samford up next. All right, so I'm here with Preston Bird, right there. And then we have Jalen Nelson, both
right
for
here.
the Samford Bulldogs. So, you guys, Samford, 1 win last year. Of course, that's not the goal any season. It's not the goal this season, so you guys want to do better.
Right.
So, Preston, we'll start with you. Even though you guys won 1 game last year, you had the best season of your college career so far. How do you build off of that season and make sure it contributes to winning?
I would say to build off of that season, the most important thing for me is going to be just simply not getting complacent, knowing where I got to fix my game at, knowing where I could be better. So just trying to build off of last year instead of trying to harp on it is going to be the biggest thing for me.
And then Jalen, you had 43 tackles last year, and you were playing safety, so that's a high number. Of course, safety, you want y'all to cover. Sometimes they drop you in the box, I know, of course, but I'm sure you like getting picks just as much.
Yes, sir.
And for you, same question. How do you make sure that you improve on the game, but also help the team win more games this year?
Kind of piggybacking off what he said, I feel like just not looking in the rearview mirror and really focusing on the 1-11 season. I feel like one thing that we really harp on as a team right now is focusing on what's ahead, and I feel like that's going to help us get our mind ready for just what's up to come in this future 2026 season.
Good segue. You said what's up and coming. You guys play UAB and Auburn this year.
Yes, sir.
I looked at the stats from last year. You had 11 tackles during a game against Baylor last year, Jalen. So
Sir.
what's it like, and what is your approach to those FBS games?
I feel like just really being where you are in the moment. I feel like a lot of people can get in those big games and really get flustered, get anxious, really let it get to them. But I feel like if you just look at it like it's a regular conference game and really just know that you belong here and that guys got you in that moment for a reason, and you'll be ready to perform, ready to play your game no matter where you play and anywhere in the country.
And this question will be for both of y'all. You guys have a new head coach, Coach John Grass. I always confuse it with,
Ross.
I always got to make sure I say it correctly, so I don't want to mess it up. So, what's it been like under him? Of course, you know, he's taken the FCS team to the national championship in the past. What's it been like under him this year?
I would say it's been great. I mean, he brought a lot of good guys into the building, a lot of good stand-up guys in the coaching area. We replaced a lot of players with a lot of good talent, so I feel like he's just done all the right things to move us towards the right steps to have a good, successful season.
You agree?
I agree. Yeah, he hit the head on the nail. Hit the hammer on the nail. I feel like Coach Gross has brought in like our staff, a very good coaching staff from Clemson, a lot of guys, a couple guys from UAB. I feel like it's just a new culture and a new mentality they brought in. I feel like we're mentally tougher. I feel like we've just built the game in different ways that we haven't seen in the past, and I feel like they brought a lot of experience and different knowledge to the game.
I feel like we've been real intentional about everything we've done all season. Like I said yesterday in some of our interviews and questions we got, we've had a lot of guys staying after, getting a lot of work. We got a lot of student, player-led walkthroughs, meetings. We got people hanging out, D-linemen hanging out with receivers. So everything's just been blending well as we approach the season. I feel like we're in a really good spot.
Would you say it's a more tight-knit group this year than last year?
100%. I mean, I feel like some of the stuff just going through those hard winter workouts, 20 gassers. You know, everybody's working around the country, but we worked a different kind of way. This past summer 1, summer 2, and then winter and spring. So I feel like just all we've been through is making us closer.
I agree.
And then if you look here, they only predicted y'all to go 8th in the conference this year. So does that add a chip on y'all shoulders when y'all see that?
It does. I mean, each and every week, we know we got great competition in here and in the conference. SoCon's a great conference to play in, but every week I feel like it's Samford versus Samford at the end of the day. I know what the rankings say, the poll says, and I don't have too much to speak on with that. We know what we have to do this season. We know what we want to accomplish and what we want to get done at the end of this season. But like I said, I feel like at the end of every game, or before every game, we just go win with the mentality that it's Samford versus Samford. We're going to play our version of ball.
Okay, one game at a time.
Sure.
So, speaking of one, we're going to ask you one word to describe this team entering this year. One word from each of y'all.
What you got?
You got yours already?
I'm gonna say hungry. I mean, like I said, man, we just been working. I've seen like different sides of guys that I've never seen before, and it's just giving me a lot of confidence. So I feel like we're just a hungry group right now. Like we're trying to come for everything they say we can't have.
That's a good word. Like hungry, I say determined. Like, we're a very determined group. Like he said, I feel like I've seen a different side of guys. I've seen a different side of myself that I haven't seen before, that this coaching staff, Coach Gross himself, has brought out of me. And I just feel like with all of us together, all these different sides I'm seeing from everybody, I feel like we'll just come together and we'll show people what they're not expecting.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck to y'all this season. Maybe I'll catch a game out in Birmingham. I live in Atlanta, so it's not that far down the road.
Yeah,
So
that ain't
maybe
too
I'll
far.
make it down there, Birmingham, catch one of them games. I'm excited to see how y'all perform this year.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank y'all. All right. Let me make sure we don't have the mic blocking your face.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
There we go. So, I'm here with Coach John Gross, Samford Bulldogs. First year that people are hearing that, of course, but it's not your first time being a head coach. So what's it been like now at Samford, early on in your first year?
It's been great. Just establishing the foundation you want in your program and getting everything right first year. First year's the first year, as I say it all the time. And it's not my first rodeo being in the first year, but you got to get your culture right. But it's been fantastic. I've seen a lot of growth, from our staff and our players since January. So it's been fun to watch and sit back and watch that.
Yeah, and of course you took a break, went to Clemson. So were you itching while you were at Clemson to get back as a head coach?
Well, I mean, those were 4 great years. Coach Sweeney, treated me really, really well. Was good to my family, and what a great place to be. I call it Disney World of football. Coach Sweeney does it a different way, and it shows you at that level you can, still do a job with integrity and the right way, and he's always going to do it that way. And I'll always be a proponent of doing the same thing. So I learned a lot there that I've taken with me, and I thought I was a good football coach when I went to Clemson. I think I'm even better now, just from being there, that experience. But I'd say I had the itch. I mean, I think God made me to be a head football coach. So, I've been a head coach most of my career, so it's good to be back in that seat and leading men and leading people.
When it comes to leading men and leading people, at your last stop as a head coach at Jacksonville State, you led a team all the way to the FCS National Championship game, multiple playoff runs while you were there as a head coach. But of course, you're taking over a team that finished 1-11 last year. So what's been your approach to changing the culture with the Samford Bulldogs?
Well, I mean, I think it's what you do day in, day out. And, you can talk about a lot of things, but you got to be a doer. And I think we put the work in, and I think that's how we establish our culture. Now, how many wins that's going to attribute to this first year, I don't know. I don't know what the talent level's like. It's been 4 years since I've been at this level, so the game's changed a little bit. Those old teams we had, Jackson State was pretty good. I think they would compete at any level. Right now mid-major and down, but I don't think that talent level is at this level anymore. So it's a little different. I think we got a pretty talented roster for the climate. What FCS football I've watched. But I see what the rest of the league's got. But I think you can become a national contender at Samford. That's our goal, and that's what we want to do. And that's what we want to do at Jackson State. Before we got Jackson State, they never won a playoff game at the D1 level. We won 2 the first year, and then we became a national contender. It's been since 1982 since the OVC had played in the finals. EKU won one in '82, and the OVC have not been back even to the finals, since then. SoCon, I done checked it out. It's been since '07. App State won one. Nobody's been to the finals since '07. So you got probably about a 20-year hiatus, from a national, championship berth, and that's kind of where we want to get to. And I think this whole conference is very capable of turning out multiple teams a year that can do that. And I think a mindset's got to change because it hadn't been there. And we're going to be a part of changing that mindset.
For sure. When it comes to changing the mindset, of course, you change it partially in this day and age by bringing in some guys, bringing in some transfers. I saw you brought in a quarterback, Coulter Cleveland from Davidson. Talk to me about him. Talk to me about that quarterback room. Talk to me about some other transfers you guys brought in.
Well, I mean, I think quarterback, you got to have him. So we went out and had a guy there that, stayed in Charlie Gillum, and he's transferred from Wake Forest, but had been there last year, and I think Charlie can go in and win games for us. Getting Colt in has been huge. I mean, it's 23 games under his belt as a starter at Davidson, and so you got game experience. So that room, we got 3 guys right now. I think could go in and win games for us. So it's good. I know a lot of people ain't got 3 guys. So the negative of that is we don't know who our starter is right now. So we're coming through fall camp, and when we get into playing games, we'll figure out who our starter is. But I think all 3 of those guys have got to be ready to play. And just other transfer-wise, I think can't mention any names really. I mean, we got guys that haven't got game experience, so you just don't know yet. But I think we've revamped our roster, with some pretty good talent.
Yeah, I was talking to the players. They seem like it's a much more tight-knit group than past years. So obviously the guys are quickly gelling so far. So what do you think the biggest difference this year? Of course, you got the transfers. It wasn't as many transfers back when you took over the Jacksonville State job in 2014. But what do you think the biggest difference will be this year when you're leading Samford? Excuse me, my name is Stanford. My full name is Stanford. So it always catches me up. But what do you think the biggest difference will be in year 1?
Well, I mean, I think learning how to win. I think that's the key. And me and Coach Hatcher are really good friends, and he had some really good teams at Samford, and they weren't very good last year. And so you got to change the belief mindset in learning how to win. So I think this team has got to learn how to win. They were a young football team last year. We're still going to be a young team. They were a redshirt freshman team last year. It was probably 60% or more of their team. This year we're going to be redshirt sophomores and freshmen. And sophomores. So it's a young team still. We don't have a 12 seniors. So I think just getting those game reps under your belt and growing and learning how to win, and I think that's part of your culture, and that's what we hope to establish this first year.
Building a good foundation.
Building a good foundation, that's right.
All right, so if you could describe this team, of course, the games haven't been played yet, but if you could describe this team in one word entering the year, what would that word be?
Physicality.
Physicality.
That's what we want our identity to be.
Makes sense because looking back to the last time you were head coach, very physical teams. Look, especially when it comes up front in those trenches, you guys have always been physical. So that's a good one right there. Well, I think that is all I got for you so far.
Thank you, Mr.
Might have some more questions for you down the road during the season.
No doubt.
Right
anytime,
now, that's all I got
anytime.
for you.
Where are you based out of?
Atlanta.
Okay.
So
Good deal.
2 hours drive from Birmingham.
Oh, no, I go through it all the time. My family's still in Clemson, so I try to hit rush hour just right. Miss it, right?
There's no good. Just right.
Come over and see us anytime, man. Come over and watch us practice. Be around, man. Good to see you, okay? Good deal. Good to see you.
All right, so which one is Trey Holloway? Which one is Chris Rhodes?
I'm Trey Holloway.
Trey Holloway,
Yeah.
Chris Rhodes. Chris Rhodes, you go by C?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I always like to make people call people by what their names are, so I want to make sure I got that correct. So, all right, so we're here with the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. All right, Trey, let's start with you. Wide receiver.
Yeah.
Return specialist.
Yes, sir.
They list both next to your name, indicating that you're one of not just a receiver, you're an offensive weapon.
Yes.
But you're not the only offensive weapon on the team.
No, I'm not.
It's filled with offensive weapons. So when there's only one ball, how do you guys make sure that you guys all stay together and come together for a common goal, which is winning games?
I feel like with all the guys that we have, the guys that we bring in, we are building a brotherhood and building that competitive edge with each other to know we are making each other better, and we know that by any means, wherever the ball goes, we'll have a big play guy to be able to, contribute to what we're trying to accomplish as a team. So with it being one ball and it being a lot of guys who can make plays, we know we'll be comfortable wherever the ball goes.
Is there any competition where it's like, all right, you caught that one, you didn't score, don't let me catch it, I'm scoring?
I mean, between brothers, we'll maybe have that conversation here or there, but it's really building that to where it's like, okay, maybe I caught a ball and I got tackled to where now we got 30 yards to go. I have maybe 3 brothers, maybe 4 brothers who could also get the ball where they could achieve that goal of us getting 6 points at the end of the drive. So it's okay.
Where you from, DC?
Yeah, I'm from DC.
I can hear it. I'm from PG County.
Okay.
I like you guys from DC. All right, C, so you come in from UT Martin last year. What's it been like as a transfer this year? Of course, there's a lot. There's a lot of y'all coming in as transfer, so you're just one of them. But what's it been like? Give me a little bit of that perspective for y'all.
They've made sure to make it a good transition. Everything has been smooth. They're always attending to us to make sure that we feel comfortable because they don't want anybody feeling left out. And I just feel like the whole team has a lot of camaraderie because we went through a lot of hard workouts together. We went through a spring ball together, and we have a lot of team bonding moments. So I feel like it's definitely been a good transition coming here from UT Martin, and it's way better than UT Martin in my opinion.
Just down the road in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, what made Tennessee Tech stand out to you as a school? Of course, I mean, they did go undefeated against the SCS last year, but beyond that, what made them stand out?
So, first off, I take my academics very seriously. So, I got granted 2 years of eligibility, so I wanted to make sure I could get a master's that I wanted, which was accounting, and they had it. So, that put them high on the list also. And then whenever I came on my visit, like, they know the threshold so perfectly between friend and coach. So, like, it made me feel so comfortable. And they breathe confidence in you, which makes you more comfortable to play for them.
Yeah, that's always good to have. I remember when I was getting recruited way back in the day, I was like, which school I want to go to? I'm like, I'm going to go to the school where I actually, feel like I got a good relationship with the coaches. And I feel like, you can talk to them anytime, you can just call them up.
Yeah.
That's always good. That's always good. So, of course, when it comes to quarterbacks, you guys have a lot of quarterbacks, but Jax Leatherwood just got named second team all conference. Is he the starter?
We haven't named no starter. We're still, trying to build a competition throughout the entire team. So we don't know who's going to be the starter. We don't know who's going to.
We're naming it during fall camp.
Yeah, basically that means if you got one quarterback who's named second team, y'all got 3 quarterbacks who's gonna be second team.
Exactly.
That's what you said?
Yes.
So what's it about all of the quarterbacks? Give me one thing about each of them that they do that's special.
For one, I love all the quarterbacks that we have. We have Jax, who is tall. I haven't really had a tall quarterback within my career, and for him to be able to see over the line, be able to get the ball to me in certain aspects. We have Zoe, another guy who just transferred in, who is a great improviser, could use his feet to make plays, extend plays as well. We got Richie Munoz as well, who came last year, and he's another guy who can use his feet as well, make another play, extend a play, and they all could get me the ball, get the other receivers the ball, maybe a running back who leaks out for a pass. It's just, we have a great room, and I love the competition that they're building within each other.
And then see, of course, you weren't here last year, so you got an outside perspective looking in on basically the finish to last year in the playoffs. So what's it been like in that locker room, coming into that locker room, and everyone, after that loss, of course, Trey, you can tell me, y'all were disappointed after that game?
After
the playoff.
Yes,
okay,
definitely.
So what's it been like in that locker room and the build up to this year? Has it been like we're putting that behind us, we're moving forward, or is it like we lost that game, we were disappointed, and there's a chip on your shoulder, and now that chip's on your shoulder even though you weren't here?
Yeah, most definitely. Well, last year the standard was to aim high, and this year is aim higher. So we always, I'm on the team now. We always talk about that loss because that's the threshold that we have to get over if we want to be a great team.
For sure. And on defense last year, you're coming into a defense, number 2 in sacks per game, number 9 total defense. How do you guys aim higher than that? What is it that you guys are doing every day before the games actually start that's prepping y'all?
Whenever I first got here, the DC put up all of the stats from the season prior, and he said, this is what you did last year. That stuff doesn't matter anymore. We want to be better than that because there's always room to grow. So that's been the motive the whole time.
Sure, and this last question for both of y'all. Two answers. One from each of y'all. Hopefully it's different, but it might be the same. There's no rules for this question.
Okay.
Give me one word to describe this team entering this year.
Hungry.
Motivated.
Okay, hungry and motivated. Why?
We're the new kids on the block. We just entered the SoCon. We surrounded by great teams, and we know to become what we want to become as a program, to get to where we want to get to, it takes every day, stacking days, and the discipline and bringing each other together to achieve that goal.
And I would say we're hungry because they got a little taste of the playoffs. They got a little taste of the playoffs, and now we want to reach that again. We want more. We don't want just a slice of the cake. We want the whole cake.
It's like when you walk in the mall and then they got the Chinese food lady giving you one piece of
Yeah.
chicken. You get a taste of the chicken, and he's like, you know what? Give me
want
a
the
whole
whole
chicken
thing.
teriyaki.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, that's all I got for y'all. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Oh, Grace is awesome. My DFO, Grace
Director of
Murray,
Football Operations.
Director of Football Operations. Yeah, you got to have him.
Yeah, especially these days. We're getting that a little bit here.
So tell me what you're doing. Who are you working with? Are you with
So I'm
couple
working with the
outlets?
SoCon.
I know you're with the SoCon. What outlets?
So beyond this, I work with the NCAA.
Yeah.
So I cover the FCS with the NCAA
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But right now, it's with the SoCon. I'm writing a couple articles afterwards,
Yeah.
talking about the media day and looking forward to the season.
Good for you. Okay. So that's what pays the bills, the SoCon or
NCAA. Well,
NCAA.
multiple things, a lot of
Yeah,
different stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, I started following you last year because I thought you did a really good job with your coverage, whether it was FCS overall, HBCUs. I thought you did a good job with that stuff.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So we'll get more coverage this year, and hopefully you guys, give me more stuff to talk about.
We'll give you some
with
stuff.
the play on the field. So speaking of some stuff to talk about, you got a new conference that we
Yeah.
can talk about after last year's breakout campaign. So what's the feeling entering the new SoCon home this year?
Very excited. Everybody with our program's excited. This has been a long time coming, Stan, for us. Our president, Phil Oldham's been at Tennessee Tech 14 years, and he's been working towards this move. And no disrespect to the OVC, the Southern Conference is much more regional for us. For example, we're trading Chattanooga, that's 90 miles away, for Western Illinois, that's 700 miles away. It's better for the student athletes. It's better for all 15 sports. It's also a much stronger academic-based conference. We're the #1 ranked public institution in Tennessee, so it's a good match with our academics with the schools in this league. And then from a football standpoint, I believe it's the 5th ranked conference right now out of 13 FCS conferences. The OVC was 9th, so from that standpoint, it's a stronger conference for us football-wise to join. So overall, all those factors, regionality, academics, and football, made it a good move for Tech.
Yeah, and that gets me a good point when you talk about the strength of the football conference, of course.
Right.
Last year, that was a big thing with y'all,
Yeah.
going undefeated against the FCS, but then, maybe a little underseeded or whatnot there. So, of course, being in this new conference will help.
Yeah.
Is there a chip on the shoulder after last year, though? With the disappointing playoff finish, and is
Yeah.
it a chip not only to get back, but perform better?
Yeah, very, very much so. That's been a driving factor for all of us coaches and players, losing that playoff game at home to North Dakota. And when you look at the seeding, I certainly understand, because I pay attention to the Massey rating and other factors. I understand the strength of schedule. The OVC was down last year. It wasn't a strong league. We had to make a change late with getting James Madison off our schedule week 1. The only team available was an NAIA team. So I certainly understand that. The schedule looked like it wasn't as strong as it could have been. The only thing that got confusing to us, Stan, is the playoff committee had us so highly ranked. And then all of a sudden we dropped down to 13. But still, it doesn't matter. You got to play the game and win. We didn't answer the call. What I feel is different about this year, Stan, is right away our opener is a top 25 matchup. We've got Monmouth at home. We were just picked second in the Southern Conference. They were just picked second in the CAA. So you're talking about a couple of programs going in that are top 25, picked up high in their conference, playing an opener. So right away the strength of schedule is going to get helped.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for that game. I just did a non-conference preview. I think y'all won one of my games week 0 to make sure you watch. So I'm excited to watch that.
I saw
game.
that. Good job by you.
And of course, I just talked to C.
Yeah.
He's one of, I think, 41 transfers. Is that how many y'all have? 41?
45 total.
45 total
yeah,
transfers.
yeah.
All right, I'll make sure I have that in our 45 total transfers.
Yeah.
How did you get them to gel so quickly? It seemed like, C's fitting right in. He's right in there. So how did you get them to gel so quickly, and how are you going to get them to perform at a high level?
That's a great question. We take a tremendous amount of pride and put a tremendous amount of effort and time into building our culture at Tennessee Tech. The way I explain it to our organization, because this is college football now, 2 years in a row we've recruited 60 new players out of 120. So last year we had 38 seniors, 22 kids hit the portal. There's your 60. Well, you got to replace 60. Well, you basically have from January to August to build your culture. It would be if you and I all of a sudden became roommates, and then we got to learn how to live together. Well, that's what happens now with the portal era, and my contention is the teams that do the best job of paying attention to the players getting to know each other and know the coaches and build trust and do things other than football, whether it's like last Wednesday we had a pool day at the golf course, and we were on the driving range with guys that never played golf, and we were putting, and we had food there, and just doing things other than just training and playbook. And you've got to build up that relationship. So I feel really strong about the fact that in this era of college football, as a head coach, you have to stay focused on your culture. Obviously, you got to really be focused on your revenue share, but you can't overlook your culture. You just can't overlook that, because you're asking young men to gel in 8 months and then go out and play for each other on a football field when they didn't know each other 8 months before. So that's something, Stan, that's really big within our program. And finally, what I'll say is it goes to our aim high philosophy, what we're trying to do to develop good people, good students, good players, future leaders of America. Our players believe in that, so they believe in us because they see how much we care about them and their future. This isn't just football, and building that culture is critical.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that you just mentioned aim high.
Mm-hmm.
So you said that, the model's aim high.
Yeah.
This year, you guys, after last year, want to aim higher.
Mm-hmm.
So
good job by Chris.
You guys were number 2 in sacks per game, number 9 total defense. What can we look forward to on that side of the field this year?
Yeah, I explained to everybody in the organization how hard it is to win 11 games. This will be my 35th season coaching. 17 as an assistant, or 18 as assistant, 17 as a head coach. I've only been part of 11 wins twice. It's incredibly hard to do. Last year, Stan, out of 130 FBS, 130 FCS, only 1 out of every 10 teams won 10 games or more. So winning 11's hard, and when we said aim higher, what we meant is we've got to aim higher than 11 wins. We've got to go farther than we did last year. Now, we have a phrase in our program called the standard is the standard. Well, now the standard just got set at 11 wins.
Yeah.
That's now the standard, and that's incredibly hard to do with the level of competition we're going to have in this league, with non-league against Monmouth, Eastern Kentucky, Mississippi State. That's going to be really hard, but that's the standard now, and that's what aim higher means, and good job by Chris sharing that with you.
And, of course, I'm sure you're getting this question from everybody. You got to talk about the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. Y'all have 3 quarterbacks.
They have 3, yeah.
And not only I have 3 quarterbacks.
What do they say about that if you have 3?
I don't even know. They say 3's a crowd, but one person in your crowd, they got a second team all SoCon already.
Yeah.
So you got Zoltan, you got Jax, you got Richie. What's something that each of them do special?
Yeah, they're all very unique quarterbacks in that they all have statistics. One of the nice things about the portal, Stan, is you don't have to go into a season with a quarterback that you've redshirted, who hasn't played a snap of college football. It's like going to the grocery store. You can go buy what you want at the grocery store. Well, you can go in the portal and find a quarterback who has good numbers. My point is all 3 of them have good numbers from their previous school where they started. Zoltan last year at Charleston Southern, Jax Leatherwood, who you mentioned, is second team preseason all-conference in the SoCon, and then Richie Munoz redshirted for us last year, but 2 years ago in the Big Sky at Weber State put up good numbers. So all 3 of them have the ability to lead this team to a championship. We're going to take this competition into preseason camp, and we're going to let it play out in preseason camp. And then whoever's the 1, 2, 3, that's the way we'll go into the season. But man, I tell you what, it feels good to know if something happens to 1, 2, and 3 are pretty damn good.
And speaking of 1, give me one word to describe this team entering this year.
It would be mentality. I really like the mentality of this team, Stan. They want to win. The guys who returned from last year are motivated to do better than losing in the first round of the playoffs, and the new guys look at it as, man, I got an opportunity to be part of something special. So I like the mentality right now.
All right, well, that's all I got for you, Coach.
Appreciate you, buddy. Great job.
Of course. And
Stan Becton, ladies and gentlemen. I finally got to meet him.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, buddy. Anytime. Okay.
So now I'm here with Zion Rutledge and Devin Lively, Chattanooga Mocks. First of all, can y'all explain to all the watchers and everybody else what's a mock?
Okay, so
Mockingbird.
it's a mock. Our mascot is a mockingbird, but a mock is not a mockingbird. It's just a mock. So we used to be the Moccasins for the Moccasin Indians and Moccasin Avenue in Chattanooga, but then we became the Mocks. So it's kind of its own thing, but our mascot is a mockingbird.
All right, so now we got that out of the way. Devin, we'll start with you. Give me an insight into the mindset of this locker room after last year. You know, y'all started strong, middle of the season, won some games, but didn't finish how you guys wanted. So what's the mindset this year after that?
Yeah, you know, short-term memory for sure. Trying to let the past be the past and focus on what's ahead of us. You know, I think the mindset is it's in a good place right now. I think it's very much execution and physicality is kind of the fundamentals of our team. So we're trying to build the philosophy of our team around execution and physicality.
And then on the defensive side, of course, physicality is something every defense wants. Would you agree? That's the same?
I 1,000% agree. That's one thing. That's one thing we focused on a lot during the offseason. Just being a physical defense, getting back to our roots. You know, that's one thing Coach Wright has, since he's came to Chattanooga, he's been a staple on, is just being physical at the point of attack, and just being aggressive in every part of the game. So 1,000% we want to reinforce that in our defense this year.
And you said the all season. You had 100 tackles last year.
Yes, sir.
How do you spend your all season? Of course, you got to recover. That's a lot. That's a lot of hits. So how do you spend your all season getting ready for the next season and recovering?
Recovery for me, personally, it only took me about a couple weeks to get back into it. And for me, a lot of it is just looking back at the things that I was strong at and the things that I was weak at, and making those strengths unbeatable, and making those weaknesses, trying to turn them into strengths. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely been a lot of reformation of my game, and just realizing that there are things that I can still get better at every single day. So still working.
And Devin, the offensive attack last year, you guys had a lot of rushers who do a lot of good things, but they're gone. New people in the building. As an offensive lineman, of course, I know all offensive linemen love the run block, right? You love the run block?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I had to make sure. So how are you making sure that the offensive line does its job so that way anybody can step in behind y'all and have success?
Yeah, we're trying to. It's different this year for us because we're returning 4 out of 5 starters, right? So we're returning guys that have played together and been together, which is huge for us. So we're making sure, like I said, physicality and execution, that's a given. But we want to take that next step and always raise the level, right? We got some great backs in to replace some guys. Harrison Baybui, Kevin Leyland, Journey White, Kelby Glaze, Tommy Worthy. All these guys. We want any of these guys to be able to step in right behind us and feel comfortable because of the way we execute. So it's going to be a big part about execution for us. You know what I mean? We communicate well. We're a tight-knit group, but the biggest thing for us is going to be executing at a high level every play. That's what it is going to be for us this year.
If you guys do execute at a high level, you guys have a chance to bring back the first SoCon title to Chattanooga since 2015. This can be for either one of y'all. What would it mean to bring back a conference title for the Mocs?
Yeah, for me it would mean a lot. Chattanooga's done a lot for me. It's put me in a great place to kind of chase my dreams and achieve everything. And I always try to remember that I can never give this place what it's given to me. So, Chattanooga's given a lot to me. I'll never be able to give back to it as much as I have. But bringing a SoCon title, I think would be a pretty good way to give back.
To me, it would show that what you believe and what you manifest in your mind can 1,000% come into fruition. This whole team, we've been manifesting it. We've been talking about it. We've been doing the work, putting in the work to be able to accomplish it, and seeing it come into fruition would be something beautiful for everybody on this team, and including especially me. So, absolutely, it'd be something great to experience.
And real quick before I let y'all go, give me one word to describe this team entering this year.
Obsessed.
Obsessed.
I haven't got that one. I like that one. Obsessed. Okay. Just focus on everything. Obsessed about it.
Obsessed with the game. Obsessed with the goal. obsessed with each other and what we're trying to accomplish.
All right, well, there you have it. You got the Chattanooga Mocs. You got Zion Rutledge and Devin Lively here. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck
Thank
this
you.
season.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
All right, Coach. We're here with Coach Rusty Wright, Chattanooga. Coach, you've been the coach since 2019. And you guys have had a lot of success during your years since you've been the coach. But last year, it was your first with a losing record. So how have you bounced back as a coach, and how are you making sure the team bounces back from that?
Yeah, you just put your head down and go to work and try and figure out things that didn't work well for you the year before and make those corrections and go from there. Have a better plan to handle some things. Sometimes things are out of your control. You can't worry about that, but you go do what you know is right and how to do things the right way and double down on it and see if it works.
Now, I was talking to Devin. He said you'll have 4 of 5 starters back on the offensive line this year, but y'all did lose some of y'all top rushers. So in the age of the transfer portal, how do you make sure that you reload your team with the right pieces?
Well, I mean, you make a lot of phone calls. You do as much background work on someone as you can. I feel really good about the pieces we brought in to replace the guys we lost, especially in the running back room. I like the guys we brought in and the high school kids we signed. So you have to do what's right for you. Doesn't mean it's always a uniform thing every time you go find another piece to what you're trying to do, but you try and work hard and get that filled.
And you guys had the top pass defense on the other side of the ball in the SoCon last year. So what is the mindset that you help instill on your defense to shut down opposing offenses, especially in this day of age where, air raid, passing.
Well, we had the number 1 pass defense because we couldn't stop anybody from running the ball. So that's why we didn't have to cover anybody. We have to get a lot better over there on that side of the ball. I mean, you can use stats and numbers to finagle them however you want them to make them look. We were not good defensively at any point in time last year. We have to be consistent. We have to be where we're supposed to be as hard and playing as hard as we can in those spots, and that's what we did not do last year. Now, I think we had all but 1 starter on defense come back. I mean, in the previous year, we've got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football for us playing this year. We're way ahead on that side of the ball compared to we were at this time last year. So I expect us to play better and do things better. Some of that had a lot to do with the people we were playing, so we'll find out if we're on the right track and moving in that direction.
And Coach, before I let you go, can you give me one word to describe the team entering this year?
Chance. We got a chance to have a good football team. We'll see.
All right, Coach.
Yep.
That's a good one. I haven't got that one yet. That's a good one. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, thank you.
Best of luck this season.
Yep, appreciate it.
Brody, let's start with you.
Yeah.
There's a new coach at Mercer.
Absolutely.
But he's not a new coach for you because you were with him last year. So what led you to make that decision to follow him?
So it was really just, I love Coach Taylor. I think that Coach Taylor, he's very respectable in the fact that he's going to tell you straight up how it is. And that's what I truly respect about him. And on top of that, he was like, I really want you to come to Mercer. And on top of that, Coach Davis, he had recruited me to West Georgia. He wanted me to come to Mercer. And those 2 guys that I truly respect. So it was really an easy decision to come to Mercer.
And Cameron or Cam?
Cam.
Okay, Cam, you're also new at Mercer after playing at Florida Atlantic last year. So what stood out to you about Mercer when making your decision to come here?
I was at Mercer. I was at West Georgia with Coach Taylor.
Oh, you were at West Georgia?
Yeah. Previous staff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what made you want to come here?
I want to say it was a no-brainer, and the biggest thing for me was just the respect that I have Coach Taylor. I had a great connection with him off the field and on the field, So, I'm an advocate for how he coaches his team and how he carries himself around other people and the things that you can learn from him. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a no-brainer for me when I got the opportunity to come to Mercer.
Of course, you got the same guy at the top, but the overall school is different,
right?
And the overall environment is different. So, what would you say, both of y'all, is the biggest difference you see from West Georgia and Mercer?
I would just say how much they pour into every aspect of the school. Mercer is a huge academic school. It comes with a lot of responsibility in the academic side, but they pour in so much into the athletic department as well that you really feel like they're pushing for you to win. That's what they want, and they're going to give you every resource to do that.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what you said, because like at West Georgia, everything is everything is basically the same. It's just more so the effort and the resources that you have. You know, Mercer might be a tad bit more strenuous when it comes to your academics, but as far as, you know, the help and the resources that you have access to, it's limitless, you know, so I appreciate that a lot about Mercer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you guys are coming into a school that was just predicted to win the SoCon. But not only just predicted, they also were back-to-back SoCon champions, first time in over 6 years that's happened. You guys feel any pressure coming in here this year to live up to, you know, the standard that's been the standard?
Not at all, honestly. You know, like I like to, you know, just control the controllables and, you know, be prepared as we can be, you know, play our game and do what we can do. I do try to, you know, tune out the outside noise a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, you know, you just want to control what you can control within your team, you know, hold guys accountable and things like that. So I feel like as long as we play our game and do what we need to do, you know, and off the field, we'll be fine.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I think that you just kind of have to tune out everything around you. I think that we got to come in week in and week out, especially in the SoCon, with our best foot forward. You know, trust the coaches, trust us players, and, you know, come out with what we have every week.
So now, before I let y'all go, can I get one word to describe this team entering this year?
I would say attack. That's our mentality. You know, Coach. That's one thing Coach Taylor brought with him, and I think that has really stuck with the team. I think that that's something that we all work to do is attack everything we do, whether that's a run, a lift, anything that team-wise, we just try to attack everything.
I'm going to say intentional. I feel like a lot of this offseason, you know, we put in a lot of time and a lot of effort getting to know each other and just being intentional with everything we're doing. You know, every school in the conference get the same amount of time, you know, to prepare for the game. So it's like what you do in that time, what, you know, how you spend all your minutes, how you spend your days. So just intentional is the best word I can describe.
Absolutely.
Intentional and attack. If you guys attack intentionally, you guys might win a lot of games this year.
Yes,
so
sir.
Absolutely.
Best of luck to y'all.
Absolutely.
Rest of the season. And
nice to meet you,
forward
man.
to watching
Appreciate
y'all play.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Sir.
All right. Now we'll wait
We're
for
good?
Coach. Yep, y'all good.
All right.
We'll wait for Coach next.
All right.
All right, so now we are here with Joel Taylor, head coach of the Mercer Bears. First time you're hearing that at a media day is today, because in the past, you know, you were defensive coordinator at Mercer.
Yeah.
2020 to 2023.
Yep.
What was it about Mercer back then that stood out to you that made you want to come back?
I'll be honest, man, the growth. I'm a big grow guy. You know, I'm always trying to grow every single day. You know, if you grow every day, everything take care of itself. That's how I kind of see life in a sense. But getting there in 2020 during COVID and seeing how we took that place to what it was, and then, you know, Coach Jacobs took it a little bit further, and now I want to see if I can take it even further, right? You talk about the success that Mercer's had the last 2 years. We want to try to replicate that on a national level, you know, because I think the goal is always to win a national championship. And just with the SoCon, the strong tradition, you know, the 12 championships, the old App State, Georgia Southerns, I think that is always a goal for any team in the SoCon, but that's always been a goal of mine since I've been, you know, a young coach. And to have that opportunity in front of us, it's awesome. I just think, you know, Mercer just is a place of growth, man. Like when you talk about some of the things as far as strong leadership, you talk about the commitment to excellence for our administration, growing fan base, great facilities, academically, we're kind of the Ivy League of the South. And then you talk about, you know, the location. You're talking about you're in Georgia. Holy smokes! We can get to we can get to 5 states within 3.5 hours. You know, so all those things, man. I think we can build something that's going to be really, really special. And that's what drew me back to Mercer.
And you mentioned that, you know, you're trying to take it even further.
Yeah.
But to do that, right, you'll have to do it without some big losses to the transfer portal for any team.
Tremendous losses.
But, of course, you guys lost, you know, the reigning Buck Buchanan Award winner and the reigning Jerry Rice Award winner. So what's your overall thoughts on the portal? Of course, you had the good and the bad. What's your overall thoughts?
Oh, man. My overall thoughts is I like it, but I don't like it, you know. And what I mean by that is I just think it has to be a little bit more regulated. I do think, you know, young people should have an opportunity to leave and go somewhere else. But I think they make those decisions not based off academics. They base it off of if they don't like a coach or if they don't like a situation, and not learning how to manage a situation. But I think that, like I said, the good is if they want to go to another place where they made a poor decision with the first place, they have the opportunity to go somewhere. And I think the other thing too is that's positive about it is, for us, we lost a lot of people. We were able to bring in 75 new people, and I think they're the right people. We got a chance to recruit those guys in. So, even though you lose some really, really good players, I think you have an opportunity to bring in some really, really good players as well. But I do think it needs to be managed in a better way.
75 players, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, how many of those players? Nah, you're not going to know. That's too much. I was going to say how many on the defense, but you got to get down to the exact number there.
Yeah.
But, of course, defensive coordinator when you were here last, defensive coach, and it's been a big identity of Mercer in recent years. One of the best defenses, I would say, in the past few years in the entire FCS. So, how would you envision 2026 defense performing? What are your expectations of the group?
To be better. To be better. And at the end of the day, I think, we did a really good job when I was here prior. And a lot of those guys were still on the football team when Jacobs came in. And they helped them win that first SoCon championship. So the foundation is there, of being a really good defensive team. So I think the expectations are there. Our guys understand that as well. But like I said, nobody's expectations is higher than mine, So I do think we have some really, really good players. I know you lose, Andrew Zock, but a lot of people don't know about Kobe McGinnis. They don't know about Marquise Williams. They don't know about Braden, Braden Dudley. Like, they don't know about these kids, and they're gonna get a chance to see those kids first game. So they get a chance to build their own legacy. But I'll be honest, when you talk about having a Braden Manley, then an Andrew Zock, like the foundation has been set. So hopefully we can then continue with the good players that come through here.
And when it comes to good players lead to good games, lead to good wins.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
So Mercer, they've won a lot of games. 2-time defending SoCon champion. It used to be, every year it's a revolving door, like the NFC East of FCS football. That's what it used to be. Now it's Mercer is on top. Y'all trying to be the Kansas City Chiefs of the SoCon. That's what it's kind of changed to. So what's it going to take for y'all to do a three-peat?
That's a great question. I think when I think about it first, I think you got to get lucky. The ball has to bounce your way in some games. No different than Indiana when they had the Penn State game. They had to have a last-minute drive, to go 16-0 and gain that momentum. I think another thing is health, right? Your frontline guys, they're probably locked and loaded. They're ready to go. But if a frontline guy goes down, can that backup, right, be just as good as that frontline guy? So just having that depth, I think, will be important. The next thing I think is about our preparation. How are we preparing each and every game? How have we done a nice job of preparing now, right? You're talking about spring ball, summer, like all those to me are opportunities to prepare for what's coming. I tell our kids all the time, you're not preparing for a game, you're preparing for a moment. Okay, everybody's preparing for a game, right? But what are you doing extra to prepare for your moment when that moment does come? And then I think the last piece I think we got to do is we got to execute. I don't care what offense we run, don't care what defense we run, don't care what special teams we run. If we ain't executing at a high level, then it really doesn't matter. So those are the things I think. Those 4 things I think we have to do well to repeat if we want to repeat.
All right, Coach. Before I let you go, I've asked everybody this question who's come through sitting in these chairs, so I got to ask you too. Give me one word to describe this team entering this year.
Attack. Attack is our brand, our motto, our identity. And basically what attack means is it means attitude, toughness, togetherness, accountability, character, and knowledge. All 6 of those things that I just mentioned are all controllable. Okay? To me, when you think about successful people, nobody's done anything of greater importance by being cool, by being laid back. They had to get up every single day and attack the day. And that's what we're going to be known as, of attacking the day, attacking academics, attacking everything that we do. And if we can attack the day, we're going to grow every day, and we're going to be successful. We don't have to worry about what the scoreboard is going to be. We don't have to worry about the referee making a bad call. You ain't got to worry about your playing time. Like, just control what you can control, attack the day, and that would be the one word I would say that would define us.
All right, Coach. Well, that's all I got for you. And I will say, you did get another person say attack from the players.
so it's wearing off on them.
It's working.
That's lovely.
They're listening to you.
That's good. I
Best
appreciate
luck this
it.
season, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. And good luck.
Thank you.
So we are here with, we got Ryder Popple.
Popple, yes, sir.
Ryder Popple and Tamarcus Eden.
Yes, sir.
I said the last name right?
Yes, sir. You said it right.
There we go. So, on the Citadel, I like the dress. I like the blazer. That's nice. Nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Very nice. So, we'll start with you, Ryder. Of course, you got a lot of headlines, this past year and throughout your career playing two sports, football and baseball. For those that don't know, what's it like, doing two sports?
It's it's time consuming, but it's fun, and I love competing. And I love showing out for my team and playing for the school and the alumni base, and honestly for my teammates. It's like I have two families built in, and both sets of teammates are amazing, and I know what I'm getting when I come from football to baseball and from baseball to football. They all work the same and they all love to win.
So how's spring ball work?
I make what I can, but if there's something going on with baseball, I go baseball first. Yep.
Okay, makes sense. Now, Tamarcus, you're coming off of a 23 tackle season last year. So what are your expectations for this fall?
My expectations is just to improve in different things that I've lacked in, and just continue to work, and that's about it.
What do you think the biggest change might be for the defense from this year compared to last year?
The biggest is our energy towards just playing ball, period, and just having grit and paying attention to details is a lot different.
And now back to you, Ryder. You play running back, of course. You guys had the top rushing offense in the SoCon last year. So talk to me about the mentality of that group to follow up this year.
Yeah, like you said, it's no surprise. We want to run the ball, and we have our identity in running the football. And we take pride in what we do. We got a bunch of returning linemen. We got a returning quarterback, our running back room. We got a little mix of guys coming in, guys who have been here, and so we're excited to do that. But it's also, don't be fooled. We led the conference in rushing, but we want to score any way we can. We don't care how we get in the box. We just want to score.
Yeah, always got to find it. No matter how. It could be a fumble, somebody falling. It still count the same. 6 points.
You're
6
right.
points. So who are a couple teammates? This is going to be for both of you. Who are a couple teammates that are flying under the radar?
Flying under radar. Who you got on defense?
Defense, it's a lot. It's a lot of guys. But let's see. One that comes to mind is Peyton Betts. He plays safety. He's always next to my side. Under a radar type guy.
Yeah, I think on the offensive side, we got a guy, Whit Hobgood. He's a tight end. He did a little bit for us last year, but I think he's really gonna show out this year. Let's see, Sebastian Boyle. He's a running back in the room with me. Again, he's a guy who played a little bit last year, but I think he's gonna take off and elevate our offense to the next level for sure.
All right. Before I let y'all go, I'm asking everybody this question, so y'all got to participate. Y'all could have not answered. Y'all could have said, I don't want to answer. No comment on the last question. You got to come up with a comment for this one.
Okay.
One word to describe the Citadel Bulldogs enter this year.
What you got?
I'm thinking gritty.
Yeah.
I'm thinking gritty.
Yeah. Gritty's good.
Gritty.
I guess it's two blue collar.
Yeah.
Gritty.
Now you put a hyphen. It counts.
Yeah. No, hyphenated. Yeah, for sure. Blue collar.
Okay, gritty and blue collar. Why?
I mean, it's what we do. We grab our lunch pail, like Coach Drayton says. We go to work every day. We work on getting 1% better and improving. Coach Drayton saying is lift as we climb. We want to lift the others around us, lift the community, and continue to work hard.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got for you guys. Best of luck this season, and best of luck. You got two sports, so good luck in both sports, and you good luck in that secondary. I play DB myself, so I always like watching good DB play. So.
Yes, sir.
All right, appreciate you, Mr. Stan.
All right.
Absolutely.
Call me Mr.
Hey, that's just a habit. That's a habit.
All right.
We good?
Yep.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Stan, S-T-A-N?
Yep.
Okay, cool. That was my best friend's name. Yeah.
All right. Oh, you got a file.
Man, I just had a little cheat sheet every once in a while.
Oh, for some notes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
This question's not on the list, but
Okay.
I was talking to Ryder, and he said you say a motto, you gotta bring your lunch pail.
Absolutely, every
All
day.
right, so talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's just simple. We just have a 1-0 mentality every day with everything that we do. The mailman's got to go to work, and he doesn't go to work sometimes. He goes to work every day.
All right. So, you're unique amongst all these coaches here because not only are you entering year 4 as a head coach, you're entering year 4 as a head coach of your alma mater. It's almost like, another senior year for you. So
And you know what? It's never been put to me that way, and you're absolutely correct. I like that. I'm actually use that messaging. It is. It truly is. This is my senior year.
So what would your senior year self back in 1999 say to you now?
Yeah, 98.
98.
Yes. Keep the main thing. Continue to love on people, right? I truly believe connection and connectivity can get us over the hump. We've had a lot of close games. We've closed the gap, but I believe that love piece, continuing to invest in human beings and their why, their personal whys, I think that's what's going to get us over the top. So in 1998, as a senior, that's what I'm telling Coach Maurice Drayton, his senior year in coaching.
All right, and you mentioned a lot of close games, and that's reflected in the record. It's been a lot the last 2 years, 3-5 in conference play the last 2 years. So would you say winning those close games and figuring out a way to finish is the way this program takes the next step?
Absolutely, you're exactly right. That's how we take the next step, and that goes to situational football. It goes to like the nonverbal acuities that we need to get us over the top. And I'm excited about this group. I mentioned already the connection piece, and that's what I see in this team so far. This team is tough, this team is disciplined, and this team is connected.
And you got to be tough and disciplined to win a specific game y'all play every year. The one against VMI. Y'all have won the Silver Shako, is that how you say it?
Shako, Silver Shako.
Silver Shako.
Yes.
The last 2 years. So as someone who's played and coached in this rivalry, what would it mean to win 3 in a row and bring that back to South Carolina?
Oh man, it would be everything. And let me tell you, it truly does not matter what your records are, what your season is at that point in time. When Citadel plays VMI, when VMI plays the Citadel, oh man, we get after each other, and it's a tough game. And it's hard. It's hard to beat the opponent in that game 3 times in a row. That is tough.
All right, so I just talked to Ryder. So 2 sports, football and baseball. What's it like managing a guy like that?
It's easy. Ryder manages himself. And truth of the matter is this: we're a leadership laboratory, and because we're developing principal leaders, and then we're releasing them back into society as they're going through it right now. I don't have to police him. He understands time management. He understands where to be and what to do and how to listen to his body. And that's really all of our guys. So we have a special group, and I'm glad to coach them.
Yeah, and you said special a couple of times. You were a special teams coordinator in the NFL. So when you have guys like Ryder, you got guys like Tamarcus, they've contributed on special teams in the past a lot, and now, they might be taking a bigger role this year. How do you make sure that these guys are prepared to take a bigger role, but also, the rest of the special teams stays up to par?
Yeah, definitely. So we call ourselves STU. We're Special Teams University. Our best players play on special teams. So Ryder and Tamarcus having a role on special teams in the past, they will continue to have those roles while they play from the line of scrimmage. So that requires us to be disciplined. It requires us to be in shape. It requires us to have an understanding of the rules. And I truly believe it makes us a better team when we spread the work throughout special teams with our best players.
For sure. I know when I was playing in college, we used to have always, if you're a starter, you might get on special, unless you're a lineman, because you can't run down the lineman or kick off. It might be a little slow. But, you also had the top rushing offense in the SoCon last year. So how do you continue that success in 2026?
Yeah, behind our offensive line, I'm really high on our offensive line, and Brady Pickett, one of our tackles, Darwin Murillo, the other tackle, and then our 2 guards. I feel really strong about Tyler Higgins-Hill and Nico Rodriguez-Pena. So behind the 2 guards and the 2 tackles, we'll be able to move the line of scrimmage, and anytime you can move the line of scrimmage, you get first downs, and first downs, you'll eventually get touchdowns. And it's really just that simple for us. Just go forward 4 yards at a time if you can.
Yeah, one of my favorite models is 3 times 4 equals first down.
That's right. That's right.
That's easy math. I was a writing major. That's why I'm doing this. I wasn't a math major, but I know that equation.
Totally.
So, real quick, you guys have some guys on defense. You got Tamarcus Elam. You got Zion Free Brown, Chris Benson. What about that defense you think is making them have a guy at every single level?
Yeah, so the big thing, they're led by Coach Raleigh Jackson, and I was remiss. When I talked special teams, I should have mentioned Coach Tony Coxum as well. But our defense, Raleigh Jackson does a fabulous job. He's a graduate of the Citadel. I actually recruited him when he was a player. He understands the lifestyle and the rigors of being a cadet, and because of that, the way he implements his schemes and his programs is with the understanding of what they're going through. And just as long as he continues to do that, we'll continue to get the best out of these individuals, those that you spoke of, and some newcomers.
Okay. Now, before I let you go, I asked everybody this, gotta ask you. One word to describe the team entering this year.
One word. Tough. And it's a toughness you can see on film. Yeah.
All right, that fits in line. You got blue collar earlier from the players, and now you got tough.
We are a blue collar outfit, blue collar Bulldogs. That's just who we are.
You actually have blue around the collar on the jerseys?
We will.
Okay.
We will.
New jerseys this year?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, I'll be looking forward to it.
All right, that sounds good.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Pleasure. All right, take care.
Slide over a little bit. Get y'all both in the camera. And I'll move the mics over here. Make sure they don't gotta hear me, they gotta hear y'all. Y'all the stars of the show.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm here with Joshua Stone King and Chris Luna. That's how you say it, right?
Yes, sir.
Chris Luna. So, you guys, Furman Helens. We'll start with you, though, Chris. You are facing in practice every day, Josh. And Josh, you're facing Chris in practice every day. What is it about the culture of the Furman team that allows y'all to not only compete against each other, but get better every day?
I'll definitely say going against Josh every day is maybe 100% better. That's one thing that the Furman culture prioritizes on, making each other better, iron sharpens iron. So me and Josh, when we go on the field, we know what's up, talk a little smack, but we all know we're brothers at the end of the day off the field, so it's been really good.
Yeah, we get into it during practice and stuff, but every time we get in the locker room, we hug it out and stuff, so we know it doesn't leave the field. That's probably the big part of our culture this year is we'll talk crap on the field, but we know we're brothers at the end of the day. So.
Hey, if you can't talk crap to your brother, then is he really your brother?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then you want Josh or Joshua?
Either one, whatever comes out's fine.
All right, we'll go with Josh for this one. All right. So last year you were first in the SCS with 14.5 sacks, first in the SCS with 23 tackles for loss, only number 2 in Buck Buchanan Award voting. After a season like that and only finishing second, is there a chip on your shoulder entering this year?
100%. Definitely was disappointed that I lost that, but Zach was a good player. He deserved it too, so definitely chip on my shoulder to go win it this year.
Do you feel any added pressure this season after performing at such a high level last year?
No, football's just a game. Just got to go out there, have fun. Get to play with my brothers, all my best friends. So it's just a game at the end of the day.
Hey Chris, are you playing center again this year?
Yes, sir.
All right, so as a center, how do you help lead the offense? I used to play with a center. He used to say, he had the best hands on the team because he touched the ball every play.
Every play, yeah.
So how are you helping lead the offense, especially when, you get into a situation like you have this year and, you don't necessarily have a returning starter at quarterback?
I'm just adjusting and adapting to any situation that's going on in the game. One of our strength coaches said the tip of the spear has to be sharp, and the center's always the tip of the spear. So I think, just carrying a leadership role and picking up my brothers when they're down and making sure that, we going to be tough-minded and fight through any adversity we got. So, yeah.
So how do you guys build upon last season, entering this year? Of course, they say, clean slate every year, new season, what you did last year doesn't matter. But how do you guys take, you got to take some things and, add on and build. So how do you guys build upon it?
I think just, practicing better. Last year we would come out, have a couple good practices, and then it would be kind of a down practice. So, but I think that comes with being more mature, and I think we have grown together throughout the spring, added some pieces that we needed, and grown together as brothers, and I think that's going to help a lot with our practices and then going into games with some energy.
100% piggyback off what Josh said, having contagious energy and, bringing the people up, young guys especially, letting them know the culture and the standard within Furman. So I think that's going to carry a lot into this season coming forward.
For sure. And as we approach this upcoming season, it's a new year, but I want y'all to describe how you guys are approaching it with one word. So one word each. How do you describe this team entering this year?
Physical.
I have to say detail-oriented. I know that's kind of 2 words.
Put a hyphen. It counts.
A hyphen, yeah. Detail-oriented for sure. Got to follow the details. And the little things always matter in every single game. So just harping on that.
Yeah, detail. That's a hyphen. It's not like you Charles Barkley, Chris Paul, and Steve Nash.
Yeah.
That counts. So you got detail-oriented and physical. All right, y'all linemen, so you play center, so you got to have the details under center, and D-line, you got to be physical. You got to set the edge, you got to hit the quarterback. So I'm looking forward to seeing y'all both do both of those things this upcoming year.
Yep.
And best of luck to y'all.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, I'm here now with Coach Clay Hendrick of Furman. Coach, last time I talked to you was a couple years ago. Last time I thought you didn't have a player like I just talked to, Josh Stone King. Unquestionably the best returning defensive player in the FCS. What's it like having a game changer that you can count on this fall?
Well, it certainly helps. I've been asked a few times in the last 2 days, how'd you get him to come back? It really wasn't probably as challenging as some people thought, but certainly. Even a year ago, you think of the number of times he just continued to show up. It's not like people didn't know about him and highly productive. I think probably to me the thing, I was an old offensive line coach, and I think the thing probably about him, you see his numbers as rushing the passer and TFLs, but how many tackles he made? He actually led us in tackles.
Yeah,
you think about it as a down lineman that does that. So, just really, really productive, really good leader. Excited to watch him play this year.
With tackles, that's a lot about pursuit, a lot about effort. So obviously that stems from the top. How do you, project that down to the team?
Well, I think that's pretty. He's one of those guys that say, "Well, do it like he does it," And I think for him, it starts, his preparation, how he practices. We were sitting here a year ago, and somebody asked me, I guess after the season, he said, "Well, Coach, did you see that coming?" I said, "Well, I nominated him last year for all conference. He didn't get many votes. The year before he missed the last 4 games with a sickness, but I said I'd seen it in practice. I knew he was explosive. He was good against the run and against the pass. A lot of times pass rushers are maybe just pass rushers. And certainly some people try to run away from him, but again, just finds a way to continue to be productive."
And then on the other side of the ball, you'll be replacing a quarterback to the transfer portal. So what's the process been like replacing him?
Well, I think for us, when it all started, I think even before he maybe left, we kind of felt like we had to change a little bit of who we were in that room, meaning just skill set. We had to find some mobility at that position, and which we didn't have really any last year. And we were a run. We were a throw the football first team, which I don't really want to be, but when you don't have the mobility at that position, it really affects you in lots of ways. Affects you up front, affects the run game. So I think that was already in the works. And then, so we've had an opportunity to completely reset the room. And, we don't have a lot of transfers, but we took a December transfer. Had been a D2 freshman of the year in a league, and then we had a kid, Jake Garcia, right at the start of the summer. They originally started at Miami, and I think that we've got a 4th-year guy in our program that's still there, and then the new guys we added, we had a couple other guys we had signed. So I think the skill set is more what we're looking to get out of that room, and we've changed a lot of things. So I think there's stuff that will help us.
Yeah, and of course you got to change. You got to be able to adapt. You've been coaching 10 years now at Furman.
Yeah, well, 10 years as the head coach.
Yeah, so 10 years as a head coach, you got to adapt a lot. I'm thinking 10 years ago, That's a whole different time, whole different style of football, whole different things to deal with. So, in those 10 years, though, you've had good seasons, you've had bad seasons, you've had average seasons. What can we look forward to this season?
Well, I think each season's a little different. I really like this football team. I think, one thing, the biggest thing we've got, we have offensively, we've turned the ball over far too much, and at the quarterback position, the last 2 seasons, I thought we lost 4 games a year ago, largely just because we turned the ball over. So I think it starts there. Any good team's going to take care of the ball. But you address what you feel like your weaknesses are, which I think we have. I don't feel, we're an older football team, got more depth. I think we have more explosive type players than we've had. We're really good teams in 22, 23, and I think we're close to being back there again. And again, I think it starts with the quarterback play. And then, we got to continue to be better defensively. I think we're significantly better at corner, which I think helps your defensive line when they can cover a little better. So I like where we are. I like the offseason we've had. Maybe it's a good offseason we've had in any of those 10 years. And, now it's starting next week and having a great August.
Yeah, next week starts fall camp, summer camp, whatever you want to call it. But I do need you to call one thing, which is a one-word answer to describe how this team is entering this year.
Confident.
Confident.
I think we've got a confident group, and being older, few guys we've added. I think when you prepare well, you have confidence. I don't care if you're taking a test. Football season's a test, so I think they have a lot of confidence in their teammates, had good leadership. So I think they're a confident group coming into the fall.
All right, Coach. Well, hopefully this confidence pays off for you guys as it goes through the rest of the season. And you guys play week 0, right?
We do. We have
right.
Thursday night. So.
Thursday night, one of the first games of the FCS season. You get to see Furman play. So, Coach, thank you, and best of luck this season.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right.
Okay.
All right, we had some technical difficulties, but we're here now. So, I'm here with Charlie Browder and Brendan LeBlanc.
Yep, LeBlanc, yes, sir.
Brendan LeBlanc. I always love to make sure I get people's last names correct. So, all right, Charlie, we'll start with you, though.
Okay.
You're year 2 here at ETSU, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is your first full off season, from season all the way to season. So what's that been like?
Yeah, it's been really cool. I think when you're in a year 1 as a player, and then also having year 1 for coaching staff, there's just a lot of unknowns, a lot of just trying to get comfortable with where you're at and what you're doing. I'm a local guy. I'm from Kingsport, which is just about 25 minutes up the road from Johnson City. So I had a little bit of familiarity from just the area. But now going into year 2, it's just a lot more comfortable with what we're doing football-wise, but also the area, the guys that we got in the building. Not everybody's new; only the new guys are new to me. And then now kind of being able to step up as a leader, not only in the tight end room and the offense, but kind of on the team as a whole, has been cool and a challenge for myself.
And then, Brendan, you're on the other side of the ball on defense. You talked about the offense as a whole and the whole room, but you're on the other side of the ball as a defense. What can we expect from the ETSU defense this year?
Yeah, we'll be tough. We'll be really tough. It'll be really hard to beat. And I think we have a lot of experience, a lot of depth in the secondary, a lot of guys returning that are really good. And up front, we do have a lot of depth. I think we'll be able to get to the passer a lot better than we have in the past, and I think we'll definitely be able to cover better in the back end, and that also ties in with us, helping them guys out. We'll be tough and veteran group.
You're always good to have some veterans, some experience there. But on the other side of the ball, back to you, there is not as much experience as in the tune of a returning starter at quarterback. And they say, a tight end is a quarterback's best friend, but y'all are having a little bit of a quarterback competition. So can you have, multiple best friends? You only got to have one best friend. So how's it been with that quarterback competition and helping them out?
It's been good, man. We got 3-4 guys that, they're all battling it out. I think, we got 2 guys that were here last year, and Jake McNamara and Jackson Bird, and then we got 2 new guys, Jay Davis and Mason Mims, that are coming in, and kind of the big thing for them is just how can they stack days? How can they make sure that their Tuesday is better than their Monday, that their Wednesday is better than their Tuesday? and just continue to get better. And for me, I want to be as consistent as I can for those guys, because I know they have so much else going on outside with which the whole competition. For me, I just want to be a security blanket for those guys and be, steady. And they know when stuff's breaking down and plays don't go the right way, they know where 88's going to be, and I can be a reliable, easy target for them.
Always going to be reliable as tight end. That's the foundation of the position. Another foundation of a position for you on defensive line is the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing my research, I saw that you are the Brother Martin High School bench press record holder at 375 pounds.
Yeah.
So what are you benching now?
415. I did the other day, yeah.
Okay, 415. How do you find that translation of the weight room, not just for you, but for the whole team, and the preparation there onto the field for this team?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge piece. I think your strength coach comes second after your head coach of most important person in the building, because that's, you spend more than 50% of your time in the weight room with that guy. So, I mean, it's huge. I mean, you got to know how to use it. A lot of people think, don't think bench press. It doesn't really apply to every position. It does to mine. But the ability to work hard and then to allow yourself to use that on the field is huge. And we pride ourselves on putting ourselves through hard things together to build a tougher team. So that's been our goal this summer, is just to do hard things.
And speaking of hard things, it's hard to win games on the field. It's hard to have success on the field. But hopefully this question isn't hard for you guys to answer. Can I get one word to describe this team entering this year?
I want to go with resilient.
Resilient.
Yeah. I'll go explosive.
Resilient and explosive.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. You guys, they're explosive. You guys come off the field, they score on one play.
Yeah.
You guys gotta be resilient to get back on the field.
I know.
All right, well that's all I got for y'all. Good luck this season with ETSU, and looking forward to watching y'all play.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Good meeting.
Thank you. Go Bucks.
How's it going?
Doing great, man.
Stan.
Healy, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Good to see you.
Sit here.
Yep. You sit
All right.
I'm not moving the camera. I'm just moving the mic. So
You're
it's
good.
all good. It's
You're
all
good.
All right. So, Coach Will Hill, you're at ETSU, year 2, and y'all went 7-5 last year. But it's not your first time being a head coach, not your first school, but it's one of your best starts at the school in your coaching career. So, how have you built upon last year's success entering year 2?
Yeah, I mean, each year when you got half a new roster and half a new staff, there's some excitement and some buzz that I think was that carried over into this off season. But you have so many different people that are going to be in important spots that I don't know if it necessarily for us gives you any type of insight for what type of team you'll have this year. I think that the reasons why you got in it remain the same. I love this group. I enjoy coaching them. I enjoy being around them. I think it's a gifted and talented group that, has a chance to do something really special. And the ball's got to bounce our way a couple times, and we're going to be tested each and every week. But the joy of coaching football and being around these guys is real. And so I'm appreciative of what they've done. I'm appreciative of what our administration has done to put ourselves in a position where we literally can compete for a chance to win each and every week. And that's the goal, man. Get through 12 weeks and see where the chips lay, and hopefully you gain yourself another week.
Were those 4 wins a part of, the momentum that you guys are feeling entering this year, those 4 wins that closed last year?
Sure, yeah, there's no doubt. And, finding a way to win 7 FCS games hasn't happened at our place very, very much in the history of our place. So there's still some building of tradition and, and creating a standard for what can really be done at our place. Obviously, Randy Sanders is the kind of the picture of success with the playoff runs and the big victories, and so we want to add more to that.
For sure, and one part of adding more will be at the quarterback position after, last year's starter, Cade McNamara left. You guys replaced him with another guy who's also from Michigan, Jaden Davis. but you also have his brother, Jake McNamara, along with other people. So I just was talking to Charlie, and he was telling me this is a quarterback competition this summer. So what's that looking like? How are you approaching it?
Yeah, I think we've got really good options. That's the great part. You would love for one of these guys to separate themselves during camp. I think the key to our success will hang a lot on that, like it does for most football teams, is how well can you play at the quarterback position. And so excited about what those guys can bring to the table, Jaden, Mason, and Jake, and we'll see who rises to the top.
And, of course, the rushing attack can help ease them into the job. Y'all had 27 rushing touchdowns last year, led the conference. How do you think you guys build upon that this year?
Well, losing Devontae Houston is a big loss. He was an exceptional and explosive athlete. We replaced him with, TJ Payton is very, very talented. Jason Albritton coming back, Jaden, Rucker. I mean, we've got a stable of backs that I think are really good players, and I think we're a lot better up front. So we should be more apt to being able to run the football when they know we're running, right, and controlling the line of scrimmage, and I think that'll help us.
One thing that stood out to me when doing my research on this program last year and looking forward to what could be something this year is that you guys blocked 4 punts last year.
Yeah.
That's always impressive. How do you emphasize the importance of special teams to your team? And I know you do got a new special teams coordinator as well.
Yeah. I think it's like, what's the teaching? Are you teaching fear of running into the kicker, or are you teaching aggressiveness of going to block punts? And for us, our mentality is we're coming after you. And I think our guys bought into that. We had the right schemes and the right people in the right spots, and those were huge. That's like having 4 turnovers, so those were big-time parts of our game last year, and they'll need to be big parts of our game this year.
And speaking of this year, can I get one word to describe this team entering this year?
It's a great question. I'm not a good one-word guy. I would say
what about a motto?
Yeah, I've got mottos for our team, but I would say, to me, this group is like, it's a prove it. We've got to prove it, I've gotten a bunch of questions about, how does it feel to be picked third? It's not first, right? And so prove it that we're good enough. Believe that we can do what we set out to do. And I think if that's the mentality, then we'll be just fine.
For sure. And looking forward to seeing y'all prove it out there on the field each and every week going into this season in 2026. Coach, that's all I got for you. And thank you for spending some time with me.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for what you do.
Of course. Thank you.
Appreciate it, bud.
Now we're here with Western Carolina. I got A.J. Colombo, and I have Ken Moore Jr. All right. How's it feeling? Busy day. Getting to the end of the day, but, give me a little bit more time. It's not going to be too much for y'all. So, A.J., we'll start with you. You were hurt last year. Had to watch from the sidelines. What was that like?
I'd say it was motivating. Had to find out a lot about myself in that period of time. Got closer with God and kind of just found the silver lining in everything. Like I said, it is kind of a motivating factor, getting back on the field and play with the guys.
And would you say you're flying a little under the radar? I saw you did get all conference, but it was second team for preseason, right? Do you think you're flying under the radar after getting first team all conference last time you were on the field?
Yeah, I've never paid attention to preseason stuff. When I was a first team preseason, whether I'm second team preseason, I think if you pay too much attention to that stuff, you're setting a trap. I don't really pay attention to it.
Now, are you the same way? I saw you got a second team preseason All-American from Stats Perform last week.
Yes, sir.
You're the same way with that?
Yeah, accolades and stats, it's all cool and all, but my main thing, I want us to win. I want to go to the playoffs. I want to get a ring. I want to get a trophy for the team.
Yeah, when it comes to winning, you guys haven't made the playoffs since 1983. That's a long time. What would it mean if you guys got this team to the playoffs and ended that drought?
It would be great, not even just for the team, but for everyone, for the people that live in Cullowhee, just for the fans. It'll just bring a lot of energy back just to the city.
Yeah, I think we feel blessed to have that opportunity to bring it back to Cullowhee and, like Ken said, just bring energy back to the community.
Yeah. Be like the first ones to just make history.
Yeah, and y'all mentioned the community. Were y'all at the school back when the hurricane was?
Yeah,
there?
yeah, like 2 years ago.
So how's the community been since then, and what did it mean for the football team to kind of put the community on its back?
Like after the hurricane and everything, a couple guys did like food drives and things like that to help out the community, give back to the people. Everyone's still coming together, just trying to put the pieces back together.
For sure. And speaking of putting the pieces together, that's a good segue. Good, you might need my job. No, slow down. You can't take my job now. You can't take my job. But new quarterback this year, y'all trying to put the pieces together with.
Yeah.
So what's it been like in the off season, catching the pass from a different guy?
Oh man, I mean, we got a lot of talent. I will say that. 2 guys that can really sling it, really play. I think no matter who it is, Lex, Isaac, they have that edge, they have that dog, both of them. And in this offense, I think no matter what, you're going to put up big numbers, and I'm excited to see what we do.
And big numbers, you got Michael on the team with you at wide receiver. So
Yeah.
how do you figure that 1-2 punch works?
MJ?
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Our receiver room, I don't think, has ever been as close as it is now, chemistry-wise, and then the amount of talent we have, it's unbelievable. X, Y, and Z, we have 3 guys, 4 guys deep that can all play. So keep fresh guys on the field. People are making plays. The quarterbacks are balling out. I can't wait to see what we do. Yeah.
And you got to keep fresh guys on the field when you got a guy like Ken here. 8 interceptions in the career. You guys can just come off the field, and he gets an interception, and now they're back on the field. Y'all got to be fresh out there. So is it a little bit easier for you, though, on that back end of the defense, knowing that, you got an offense in past years and probably this year, too? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's an offense that's going to put up a lot of points, a lot of yards this year, because that's been what y'all been doing. But is it easier for you playing back there, knowing that your offense is going to do that? You got a little bit more leeway to do some stuff and, take a little bit more risk? Or is it harder and more pressure knowing that, they're going to put up points? So if you guys aren't doing your job, then that looks even worse.
There is the little aspect of pressure, like we know we're going to be on the field a lot. We know we like to run fast, throw pass, fast, move everything. I know we're going to be on defense a lot, but it's not really too much pressure because I know they're going to handle it. And I know we're going to be good on defense too, so it all just goes hand in hand.
What would you guys say has been missing from this program in the past year? Last year, one of the first teams out, a year before, on the edge. What's been missing?
If I'm going to be honest, the one thing that I think that all of our teams, like past teams, have missed out on is real camaraderie and brotherhood and like playing for one another and really trusting each other on the field. And not just trying to do too much and make a play and just believe that your brother will be able to make the play on his own.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I think we've come together as a team more this offseason than we ever have. The brotherhood is incomparable.
Yes.
All right, before I let y'all go, can I get one word to describe how you feel this team is doing? Like, describe this team in one word entering this year.
Thirsty.
Hungry.
Thirsty and hungry.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all gonna eat and get something to drink.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Feasting.
Feasting. Okay, that's a good one. I might have to use feasting for the summary of y'all.
Sweet.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Now
You
we're
ready?
here with Kerwin Bell, head coach of the Western Carolina Catamounts. Coach, we got to start off at quarterback. You lose to Ron Dickens after you finished number 2 in Walter Payton award voting. But it's not your first time having a quarterback transfer to the FBS. You had Cole Gonzalez and Carlos Davis both did so too. What can we expect from the position this year?
Well, hopefully you don't see the same kind of quarterback play. And, Tiger was special now. He had one of the best years I've ever been around. I've been around a lot of college football in the last few years, and he had as great a year as I've ever seen. 38 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, over 70-something completion percentage. So we lost a lot, but I love the 2 guys we got coming in. Lex Thomas we brought in the portal in January from North Carolina State. He was a backup there. And then Isaac Lee's been a guy who's been in our program the last 2 years. And both of them have the quality that I'm looking for. So I've got 2 guys that really I think are the kind of players I'm going to want at that position. And what they are, they're Hall of Fame point guards. And what I mean by that is that they distribute the ball at a very high, efficient rate. So when we drop back on first down, they're going to give me a 5-yard completion. They're going to be very high efficiency in that area. be able to make decisions, be able to cancel out, be able to get through your reads. They both have that quality. The other thing is, too, what Tiger gave us, they both can run. They'll be both of the fastest guys on the field when they play. They got outstanding speed, great feet, and so they can extend plays, they can create plays. So it's really been neck and neck the whole offseason. Both of them give me exactly what I want. Now it's going to be who can take that next step here in camp and become the leader of the football team. And we'll go with that. And I think whoever wins that job, I'm telling you, they'll be up for player of the conference, because in our system, they do the things that's going to make you successful. What made Tiger and Cole Gonzalez and all them successful is that they were great distributors of the ball. These both have that same quality.
So would you say the quarterback position in your offense is more plug and play, no matter who's it been? Because I mean, consistently year after year, you guys have been at the top of the FCS, putting up big numbers.
Well, people ask that, and I said, well, the reason is I'm not gonna, if I go recruit, I'm not gonna have on my roster a 6'5", 250-pound guy that throws 100 yards, but can't hit, can't complete 60% of his passes. So I try to recruit the same kind of player, right, with those same qualities. So I don't get stuck on size or physical ability. They have to have a strong enough arm to get it done. But that first quality, if I have a truckload of players that have that same quality, well, then when I plug the next one in, he's going to play the same way. He's going to be very efficient. He's going to be able to keep us in good down and distance, because not only is he going to throw it incompletion, he's going to go get 2 yards maybe. He may hit a check down for 5, but he's going to be efficient in the way he plays. And if I can get a roster full of those kind of guys, then every time I have to replace one, they don't play the same way.
So that probably eases it a little bit for you when someone's leaving the success and stuff.
And you'll miss on a guy when you recruit a guy and you think, okay, he's what you want, and all of a sudden you get him into your system and he just don't work. Don't work. So we have to continue to recruit every year and make sure we have 2 or 3 quality guys who fit what we're looking to do. And if they fit in that system, they're going to be up for player of the year, because they're going to put up big numbers.
Yeah, speaking of recruiting, you brought in a guy, Aaron McIver from Gardner-Webb. He allowed 0 sacks last year. How's a guy like him ready to contribute day one?
Well, it's big for us. In the portal is we lost 2 or 3 of our own offensive linemen in the portal, and we have some freshmen, but are they quite ready? We have to make that decision, or do we need to go get a veteran like Aaron? And we felt like Aaron, we had to have him this year. He's very important for us to come in and stabilize that offensive line. That's going to be a big key for us. We like the addition that we've added there. Him and Andrew Threet was also a tackle we brought in. I think started 29 games, so brought some experience in to help with. Now we got a lot of good young guys, and I think that mixture is they'll really give us a chance to be a very good offensive football team.
For sure, and that offense has been one of the driving forces behind Western Carolina year after year, but it hasn't necessarily paid off with the playoffs. 1983, that's the last time this program has made the FCS playoff. How does this year's team end the drought?
Well, we changed defense coordinators. Jerry, I thought, did a good job for us. We stopped the run in the last couple of years, but we gave up a lot of explosive plays. Guys just didn't make plays. But I love, Nick Revez is a guy who has shown that he can be a great defense coordinator. I think the big key for us is to make our offensive earn the plays. So we'll play more 3 high, 3 deep, than the split safeties where you get caught one man-to-man a lot. So hopefully that's still cut down on giving up big plays. Because listen, it ain't like we trailed in these big games. We've been ahead, and we just hadn't found a way to get it done. So we had the talent, we had the ability to do it. We just hadn't finished those games. So we know we've been preaching the whole offseason, let's be a team that can grind it out, a team that can be physically and mentally tough in those tough situations. And I think when you put yourself in those positions, just like Michael Jordan did when he was young, he had to learn how to get over the Detroit Pistons and past the Lakers. But once you have that experience, now you draw on that experience, and I think our team's ready to take that experience and get us to a point where we can get over the top.
All right, Coach. And then before I let you go, can I get one word to describe this team entering this year?
I think you don't have the superstar player, but the one word I would say is just team. I think overall, and we got a bunch of guys who want to play together. We don't have the superstars, so to speak, coming back from last year that's put up these big numbers. But I think we got a lot of quality guys that's going to make a really good football team.
All right, Coach. Well, that's all I got for you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, chat. We have one more. The last one, last but not least, we have the Wofford Terriers to close us out. So one more, and then we are closed out here at the SoCon Football Media Day. So we are having a great day. We got one more left. So I'm here with Eli Campbell and Dylan Porter of the Wofford Terriers. All right, Eli, we'll start with you because you've been at Wofford all 4 years. So what's some of the difference you've noticed in your time at Wofford across your 4 years there?
I'll just say, like, as the years kept progressing, we became better as a team. We got started to see, like, how our strength program improved, coaching improved. Just improvements really everywhere, you know.
And this is your first year coming off of a winning season since you've been at Wofford. So talk to me, what's it been like this offseason? You know, has there been some momentum carried over?
Definitely momentum carried over, trying to, like, just keep improving any way we can and just keep getting better, keep climbing.
And Dylan, we'll go to you. I'll move this over just a little bit so that way, you know, I can hear you. But in those last 3 games that helped y'all get a winning season, you know, team only allowed 1 sack in those final 3 games. How do you build off of that as an offensive line unit?
Yes, sir. I think, you know, sticking to the little things, you know, offensive line's in a very different position. Sticking to the details, sticking to our technique, playing as one, you know, it's all 4 of us out there playing as one. So I think building off that.
And what's it like to block for a guy like JT?
It's huge, man. He's a great guy, great quarterback, great patience in the pocket. When JT's behind us, you know, we're rolling at all times.
Now, Eli, back to you. You got a head coach, played your same position in college, free safety. What's it like having a head coach that played your position?
It's cool. He definitely shows me a few things or tells me a few things that help me on the field. But yeah, it's just nice to have.
And in the team, it had 5 defensive touchdowns last year, 15 interceptions, 10 forced fumbles. So what's the philosophy on turnovers y'all got?
We like to punch out the ball. Like, every day we punching out the ball, every play we're punching out the ball. You know, we really just, like, say it's an effort thing. Like, takeaways is just effort, like, who want it more, you know what I'm saying? So we put a big emphasis on it and try to put it in. We do turnover, takeaway circuit, we try to, like, make a big emphasis on it.
You had 4 interceptions last year, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you see that ball in the air, what's going through your head?
Gotta have it. My ball.
All right, Dylan, back to you. So you guys lost 5 games last year by 1 score. Not like y'all got beat, like blown out. Y'all lost by 1 score. Is there a feeling of, like, you guys are, like, right there and that you guys are close to, like, you know, taking it to that next level?
Yes, sir, for sure. I mean, I think last year, you know, you heard us talk about conference championship a lot. You know, I mean, it's no worse feeling walking off the field losing by 1 point. You know, it's eager. You know, we're on the brink of something special. 2026 is going to be a great year for us. So those 5 games, we definitely feel those. We won't forget those for sure.
So how would each of y'all describe this team entering this year in 1 word?
I say tough.
I say dependable.
Dependable and tough. Okay. Expand on those a little bit more for me.
I just say, like, just conditioning, strength wise. Like, we're just a tough team, even on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just been putting the work in, you know, and just
I think dependable, like just being on task, on target. Like, we preach that a lot in our building. Just being dependable on one another. Anytime your number is called, you know, you never know when your number is called. You know, whether it's on offense, whether it's defense. You know, we're always being dependable at all times.
For sure. Well, best of luck to y'all on this upcoming season. I'm excited to watch y'all play, especially. I played DB in college, so especially I like watching DB play. So go get some more picks this year, man.
Sure.
All right. Appreciate y'all time.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
We're here with Coach Sean Watson, Wofford Terriers. Coach, your 4th year leading the Terriers, but it's your first time coming off of a winning season. How's this offseason compared to your other ones?
It's been fun. We learned a lot last year because the way we finished our season. You know, it was a great learning experience for all of us. I think we had a real breakthrough. These are our guys now that we've recruited. So, and then we were able to retain the majority of our roster, which is uncommon in college football today. and we have those same guys coming back, those same playmakers. So really excited about what this season holds for us.
Yeah, last year y'all finished the season on a 6-1 run and a 4-game win streak. So how do you think the team's going to carry over that momentum?
Well, again, it'll be lessons learned. I mean, we learned so many things. I think last year I knew we had a talented team. In those first 5 games, we lost 5 of them by a total of 12 points. So we were on the verge of getting there, and there was frustration in that the kids knew they were good, but we weren't doing the little tiny things it took to really knock that in. We needed to play cleaner, we needed to start fast, and we needed to finish, and all those things were critical. And then we had a breakthrough moment. Really, honestly, JT Fayer, our quarterback, when he became the starter, he really helped us realize our receiving core, and that opened it up for the offense because our defense was playing really good football. Special teams was really tight, playing good football, and we needed to get our offense going. We needed to get our receiver room going because when they go, we go, and that's what happened.
Yeah, you're good at segueing, because that was my next question going to be about JT Fayer. He had the single game touchdown record against VMI. So what is it that you noticed about him this offseason as he's preparing to take that next step as a starter?
Well, the best thing that's happened to JT is, honestly, he's a great kid. He really wants to be good, and he's in a room that's really competitive, which is awesome, because Ethan Drum, who had been the starting quarterback, really opened the door for him to take his chance, because of injury. We lost him for the season. Ethan came back in the winter and was back for spring ball, been back all summer, and the two have been great, competing, because honestly, you need great competition at quarterback to elevate that room, because our world at college football is centered around that quarterback room. They got to be able to distribute the football to the playmakers. So, JT, has been on task, been on target, and so is Ethan, because they're competing hard.
So it's an open competition right now.
Yeah, JT's going to have the first shot at it. He's going to walk out there, when we start practice here first. But we want to, in all fairness to Ethan got hurt. He didn't lose the job because of performance. He lost the job because of injury. So we want to give him, see where he's at in his development, and I think it's good for our football team. My career's been quarterbacks, and I think it's good for our team, good for them, and good for the room.
Yeah, and on the other side of the ball, number 4 scoring defense in the FCS last year. Mm-hmm. How would you describe your team's philosophy on that side of the ball?
Well, number 1, Mitch Doolittle, our defense coordinator, does a phenomenal job. He's a great student of the game. He does an excellent job of putting our guys in position to make plays. What we were able to do last year with Max Pulley, his consensus All-American, led the country in interceptions. I mean, he had a phenomenal year, and Mitch did a great job. The defensive staff did a great job of putting him in places to make plays. And, that's what they do. They do a nice job of getting extra hats in the box and then, creating confusing looks for the quarterbacks. I love sitting in there and listening to them work and talk. And, from a quarterback perspective, offensive coordinator perspective, I can lend some experience to them.
Yeah.
That's good. And, they do some great things. They're really creative.
So when you guys go to, offense versus defense, and here in fall camp a little bit, it'll be some competing on your end too.
Well, it's, what I've done is I've really stepped into more of the head coach's role. I've got Lane Noss there as our offense coordinator now, and Lane's done a great job with our offense. And, Lane, Corey Woods, who really coordinates our run game and helps Lane. He's his right-hand man, and, Mitch Doolittle. The 4 of us really work well together in, really creating a vision for both sides of the ball. This hurts, this is good, and there's we share a lot of information. The, first expert we have to go to is the guy down the hall called defense coordinator, or the guy down the hall called offense coordinator, to get a lot of questions answered. So we have really good chemistry as a staff that way.
For sure. And before I let you go, I know you had a long day, but I need you to answer just one more question for me real quick. And the one is going to be the number here. Can you give me one word to describe this team entering 2026?
Relentless.
Relentless.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, guys have, because the way we finished our season, the veterans that we brought back, the reason they came back, we're pursuing something we all came there to do, and that's Wofford has one of the great football traditions in all of FCS football history, is to get it back, and that's what our commitment is.
All right, Coach. Well, hopefully you guys can get it back this year. Best of luck on this upcoming season.
All right. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. All right. You're good. Your day's done then, huh?
I think so.
All right. Good for you.
I think so. Let's see, y'all. We got. Let me just check. We got a full calendar schedule here. So. Yes, I think that is everyone that we have today here, chat. So, chat, I appreciate y'all for joining me. I know it's been a long 3 hours here, but I do appreciate you guys for giving me some time in your day to just, watch as I do my job and cover college football. So, thank y'all, chat. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream and get ready to start writing some articles based off of this. So, thank you, chat.